This episode of Liquor and Literature discusses a book in the horror genre with themes of the occult, gore, and violence. As hosts, we strive to have fun and educational discussions about the books we cover. We make an effort to discuss these written works in ways that will not alienate or suppress others, but will be covering themes that may not be suitable for children. Also, cuss words are a part of our regular vocabulary, and drinks will be had, so keep that in mind if you are sensitive to liquored-up loudmouths. Welcome to Liquor and Literature. We are a podcast, a book club, and a happy hour. My name is Lauren.
I'm Amber.
And I'm Sam. I mean, that was very fitting because you know, it's kind of a creepy, metally book that we're going to be talking about. So, and you're a creepy, metally person, Sam.
more gothy than metally.
Yes. Yes. They are different.
But they all look similar, I guess.
Kind of, but they are different.
Yes.
So yeah, welcome, listeners. If this is your first oh no! Did Norman bite you?
Well, I was scratching my leg underneath the table, and I was like,
okay. I said
well,
before
that was pretty metal too.
That was a jump scare.
My cat is pretty metal. I was saying before we started recording, this is going to be a very noisy episode because normally either my cat is outside usually, and my dogs are in the other room, but it's very hot outside, so all the animals are together with us. So you might have some jingling. There's going to be some jump scares because of Norman, my cat.
Yeah. The flesh has been rended.
Yes. Again, very fitting for this book. So thank you, Norman, for being a part of this situation.
It's hot outside, but this is going to be like an October
Yes,
episode,
this is coming out in October, but we're recording it in June. So
Yes.
Because we're busy.
We're busy people, and we're prepared. We're ahead of time.
Sort of.
Kind of.
We stay ahead.
We act like we are.
We try real hard.
We always want to make sure that you get your episode.
Yes.
Thank you for listening.
So
Yes.
anyway, yeah, if this is your first episode,
Welcome.
they're always kind of like a hot mess like this one. But I think they're fun. So basically every month we cover a book and we talk about the author. We have a drink pairing, a food pairing, and a movie adaptation. And also there's always going to be spoilers. That's kind of obvious, but you know what? If you're like, hey, I want to read this book before I listen to the episode, then go ahead and do that. If not, just take a listen. So, yeah. This month was Sam's pick. Sam, do you want to tell us what book you picked?
Well, I picked The Ritual by Adam Nevill, and once again, I have picked a book based off of a movie. So
I mean, that's just kind of the premise of the podcast anyway, so you didn't do nothing wrong.
Well, the last time we had Grandpa Armadillo
This
when I
is
did
true.
that, so
You know what? It was an entertaining episode.
This was a better outcome. Thank you, Sam.
less Grandpa Armadillo.
No Grandpa
escapades.
Armadillo. No, Graham, not less.
Really?
None.
That's true.
It seems like something that would pop up a lot in books, but who knows?
So I saw the movie The Ritual like several years ago. It's probably one of my newer favorite horror movies. Because I typically like older stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So for me to actually like this one, I was like, wow. And then I recently found out that it was actually a book because I had listened to another one of his books called The Reddening. And I was like, oh, it's the same guy that wrote The Ritual.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to go ahead and do this, especially since it was coming out in October. So, and I love that it had a good movie adaptation. So we could definitely talk about that because not all my picks have movie adaptation.
That's okay. It just makes it, gives me a challenge for my portion. But I like a challenge, so. And I'd never, I'd heard of the author because someone, either Karen or my uncle, had gifted me one of his books because the name sounded familiar. And then when I was going through my library, I was like, oh, I have one of these. I have not read it. I don't even remember which one it was, but that's all I know is that he's a horror writer. So, yeah. And I hadn't watched the movie before this, so it was a new experience for me. So,
all the experience.
Yeah, it was entirely new because I hadn't read the book or watched the movie until, Very recently.
Mm-hmm.
I've probably watched the movie at least 4 or 5 times now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
So
I
you
actually really
like
liked it.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, we'll get into it later.
Yeah.
Why don't we jump into the drink pairing?
The drink pairing. So I chose Aquavit as my main spirit because the book is set in Sweden, and that's pretty much a pretty common spirit that they drink there. They will drink it usually as like a digestive, like after dinner or whatever, and they'll do shots or they can have it in a cocktail.
Oof, I couldn't imagine doing a shot of that.
We should.
Okay.
Actually.
We shall.
Oh,
Should we do it on air?
Yes.
Why don't we go through the all your stuff and then we'll take a little break and get some
that
shots.
ready and-
Yeah.
Yep, okay.
That'll wake us up. We're all a little tired, folks.
Yeah.
We old and we
It's gonna
tired
give
and
you
it's
something.
hot as fuck outside.
So Aquavit is also based off of the Latin aqua vitae, and which is the water of life. So that's what this cocktail is going to be named. So I'll give you some fun facts about Aquavita. Aquavelva.
Please do.
No,
Aquavit.
Aquavit.
Aquavita, that's
Yeah.
water, right? Or is that the makeup brand?
That's the water of.
What are we talking about here?
Okay, so Aquavit is the national drink of Denmark, Norway, and Sweden.
Mm-hmm.
You can typically find it distilled with grain or potatoes, and it's flavored with spices and herbs.
Mm-hmm. Which you could definitely taste in.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's very coffee.
Yeah, but a good cough
The
drop.
good cough drop.
Ricola cough drop.
Ricola. The flavor profile is typically caraway, dill seed, and anise or fennel.
Oh, dill seed.
Dill
Anise?
seed.
Dill and anus. Yeah.
Dylan anus.
Dill and anus. What a good name.
Y'all are dilly. Stop it. I'm
My
trying to
name's
fucking
Dill
talk
and
here.
Anus.
I'm sorry.
Nice to meet you.
That dildo.
And it's typically aged in barrels, like sherry casks, or it's unaged. And Amber's having a fucking meltdown right now.
I'm so sorry. I have
Your
to,
face is
like-
turning red.
Ben always says, he's like, you've got the sense of humor of a teenage boy.
Yes.
Like, yeah, accurate.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Sorry.
happening.
This is why we're friends, though.
It is.
Traditionally, it's kind of looked at more like a gin because of the herbal distillation. But it's really kind of more like a vodka in a sense, too.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, it's
Because-
like, yeah, I could see both.
Yeah. So you could actually make your own aquavit at home. So if you can't find any, if you want to make this recipe, you can't find it, you can basically take vodka and just basically infuse the vodka for about 2 weeks with whatever herbs that you want.
Do you have to do it in the back of a toilet or just fine
If you're
wherever?
feeling frisky, I guess.
If you want to get a disease.
You want to get that hoof and mouth disease.
Hoof and mouth.
Hoof mountain disease.
Hoof mountain disease.
Hoof in the mountain disease, yeah.
Also relevant to the book that we're covering.
Yeah, basically. So I used North Shore Aquavit, and they're based out of Chicago, the northern suburb called Green Oaks.
Mm-hmm.
They started in 2004, and they've actually got several different spirits. They've got about 4 gins, some flavored vodkas, a couple whiskeys, and then they have specialty liqueurs and a rum as well.
I'd never heard of them before.
Yeah.
I mean, we had to look up where they were on the map because I'm like, I've never even heard. I mean, obviously they're northern suburbs, but
Yeah.
I had not even.
So they're
heard.
like between Chicago and the Wisconsin
Yep.
line.
Mm-hmm.
So theirs is actually flavored. It's a pretty traditional flavor. It's caraway, cumin, and coriander, and they age it in new American oak barrels. And the difference between like using new wood and old wood is like it keeps it kind of like a cleaner flavor, whereas older, oh god damn it, Amber, I can hear you fucking snickering. Old wood.
She said wood.
Yeah.
No, she's comparing old wood to new wood.
I mean, there are a lot of
Oh, no, that.
There are differences
ups and
anyway.
downs. Yeah, ups and downs.
Well.
I didn't mean to say that.
I'm sorry.
Y'all
Hey,
are making this so hard to get through.
I bet it is hard to get. I'm just saying. Do you remember
You've
how...
said enough! Older barrels that have already been used they give you basically like a deeper flavor, woody flavor. And don't laugh.
I'm not.
Anyway. So also the other spirit that I used in this is, well, it's not really, I guess it's a liqueur. It's called falernum. Golden falernum.
Never heard of that. Falernum. That sounds
Yes.
like a spell.
Falernum!
Which is also kind of relevant to the book that we're going to be
It's like I
covering.
cast falernum.
Yes.
But it's by The Bitter Truth. And it's actually, I did not know this, so this was kind of interesting. I knew about falernum because we had it at the bar, and I knew it tasted good. But it's usually used in tiki cocktails. So
okay,
it's-
like rum things
yeah,
and stuff.
so it's
Okay.
kind of an interesting flavor that goes well with this. So, but it's basically a sweet liqueur with ginger, clove, vanilla, almond, allspice, and lime.
Lots of flavors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like originally from Barbados.
Okay.
So
Cool.
those are the two
Never heard.
alcoholic beverages.
And what did you say this was called again? I forget what you said you named it.
It's gonna be just aqua vitae.
Aquavitae.
Yeah.
Okay.
The water of life,
Cool.
whatever, because they're fighting for their lives. So
Yeah. I mean, again, very relevant. So creative.
So it's gonna be an ounce of aquavit, a half ounce of lemon juice, a half ounce of the golden falernum, and then you basically just, it's a stir. It's not a shaken drink. You stir it over ice, drain it into your glass, no ice, put a splash of tonic water on it, just like a little bit, and then I just gently kind of one little stir of that in, and you're done.
So it's actually kind of a simple drink because the two like liqueurs that are in it have so much flavor. It's like you really don't need that much more after that. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, you can use aquavit too, like a gin or a vodka, so you can make Moscow mules and stuff with it. I bet it would taste really good probably with the ginger beer. And for the mocktail pairing, it's not going to be exact because it's strange liquors always with me.
Yeah.
I
Lots of
apologize.
herbal flavors.
Yeah. So I would suggest either using Seedlip non-alcoholic spirit, their Spice 94, because it's got kind of the woody, spicier flavors, but it also has some of the citrus, which brings out what we already have in it for the lemon juice.
Yeah.
Or if you're feeling frisky, you can infuse your own by using Strike Not Vodka. And then just infuse it with the coriander, cumin, and caraway seeds for 2 weeks. I can't tell you the measurements on that, so that's going to be up to you.
That's an experiment.
That's your experiment. Good luck.
Yes.
But otherwise, yeah, I've tried the Seedlip. And then a 1/4 ounce of Gifford's non-alcoholic orgeat, which is an almond, like an almond type syrup. So it's going to be a lot sweeter than the falernum, but if you do a 1/2 ounce of lemon, like a teaspoon of fresh ginger, like grated ginger, it's going to give you some of that spiciness back. And then like a splash of lime juice, it'll be closer to what falernum tastes like. And then you can just use a splash of tonic water after you've basically mixed it the same way as the other drink. Just stir over ice and strain into your glass, and then top with the tonic water.
So will it be sweeter because they're in Sweden?
Hey.
She's here all night, folks.
Maybe.
Unfortunately. No kidding.
She said it and I was like, I'm not going to interrupt her.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell this
Thank
stupid
you.
joke.
All right. Why don't we take a break and get those shots ready? All right. So we got do them one at a time or should we do them together?
We can do them together, and
Ooh.
we can. It's traditional to look each other in the fucking eyes.
Okay.
That's hard
We're
because I
metal.
only
There's
have
three,
two
I
and there's
can't-
3 of us.
Yeah.
And you say skål.
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 Oh, yes.
Skål. Like, or skål.
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 Look me in the eyes.
Skål. And let's go.
Woo!
It burns.
That's herbal.
I have a little cut on my mouth, and that didn't feel great, but it's actually not that bad, though.
No.
It's the afterburn. That
Yeah. Lauren just had a seizure.
out of nowhere.
It hit me.
She just started fucking convulsing over there. She's like, oh, the earth.
It hit me like 10 seconds after I. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you get at first you're like assaulted by the flavor, and
Yeah.
then you're like, oh, that's not so bad. And then you're like, it burns.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
It was.
A little.
It wasn't the worst.
Yeah, that's
I-
the
I-
thing.
Woo,
You know-
your nose is cold.
I'm sorry. I should just nosed you in the elbow.
It
It
had
was
a
real
pretty
chilly.
intense burn, but really, it wasn't.
No.
It's not a bad flavor though.
No, and honestly, because it's a liqueur. Wait, no, it is a liquor, right?
Yeah, it's a spirit.
Okay, so it probably has as much alcohol as like a gin or something like that.
It's like 42%.
Yeah, that's about
So
what a
it's like a
gin is.
90. Is it a 90?
Honestly?
I don't remember how all that works, bro.
I don't mind it for a shot. I don't mind it.
Yeah, I mean it's fine. For,
I'd take that over a fucking vodka shot. That's for sure.
Well, I feel like if that's gonna be your end of meal shot, that ain't bad.
Yeah. All right, Amber. Well, why don't you kick off the author background?
Sam, do you remember how long the author biography was for our friend Gute?
Well, you know what? You don't have to say it, brother. Gota also did a lot of shit, and Gota.
Sam, I just need to tell you that this is nothing like that at all. So,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Bitch.
You let her into.
so yeah,
I'm
I
like,
know.
listen, don't blame me for
Yes.
some man's life.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. I really don't think this guy gives interviews,
Yeah.
and I think he's a very private guy.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like the one author I really like, the poet Nikita Gill.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. Which
So
I totally get. I totally
Yeah.
get that. You don't want to be in the spotlight.
So Adam Nevill was born in Birmingham, England. So yes, to England. Somebody said that earlier. They
I thought he was from England.
Yeah.
Yes.
In 1969, not a birth date, just birth year is
That's
all
all
I
you
could
get.
find.
Oh wow.
yeah,
Can't
that
even find his
private. That
Dang.
private, okay.
Wow.
Fun
That's
fact:
impressive.
Ozzy Osbourne is also from Birmingham.
Oh.
Ooh. So he grew up in England and New Zealand. He's an author of horror fiction. And one of his novels, The Ritual, Last Days, No One Gets Out Alive, and The Reddening, were all winners of the August Derleth Award for Best Horror Novel. He's also published 3 collections of short stories, with Some Will Not Sleep winning Best British Fantasy Award for Best Breast Collection.
Breast.
Breast collection.
Sorry.
Oh, we've had wood and now breast.
We have
I mean, it is a British fantasy, so maybe.
we have a breast collection going on right now.
Hey.
My breasts were collecting lots of tacos last night.
Yes. Amber was sloppily eating some tacos in the hot,
yep.
hot sun.
Yup.
Saw her bra a couple
Slinging
times.
the tacos
Sorry.
onto her titties.
Yeah.
Whatever. He's also published 3 collections of short stories, with Some Will Not Sleep winning the British Fantasy Award for Best Collection 2017. Imaginarium adapted The Ritual and No One Gets Out Alive into feature films, and more of his work is currently in development for the screen. The author currently lives in Devon, England.
Ooh, nice.
I suspect that
Beachy.
he has a partner and a child, just due to the fact that he wrote his dedication in The
That's
Ritual
what I thought, yeah. Mhm.
for Anne and our cub for making me
Yeah.
and my life less beastly.
I
which
thought that was cute. Yes,
Mhm.
yeah, I remember reading that, yeah.
Why does he fucking look like Billy Corgan?
I know, I thought the same thing. He looks like Billy Corgan, for sure.
Yeah.
He's from Chicago, or the suburbs of Chicago, I don't know. But anyway,
Hey.
fun fact. All right, well, why don't we get into the book? Why don't we do kind of like a little premise of like what's going on, where we at, what's this book about?
All right, so we have a couple main characters. There's Luke, there's Hutch, or sometimes called H, Dom, and Phil. They're all friends. They decide to do a mate getaway, and they decide to go hiking
because they were all college friends.
Yes, they were all college friends. They're like in their 30, like well into their 30s and stuff now, and most of them are married with kids except for Luke. And they decided to go to Sweden and do this hiking trail that was supposed to like be a pretty old trail, and then also potentially take them through like old virgin forests.
Mm-hmm. Which can be dangerous.
Yeah.
If it's never been hiked before.
Shit went wild.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because the two guys, Dom and Phil, weren't ready.
They weren't prepared. They were obviously not seasoned hikers, trekkers, anyone that actually spends time outdoors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and I think it was Phil didn't have the right shoes, and he like, was getting jeans. Calluses or something. And, they were wearing jeans, and then
so he was getting like mad chafage.
And then Dom like fell and like hurt his knee.
I think one of them had a bad knee in the first place, and then hurt it worse.
Yeah. Well, they also weren't like in shape either, which I mean, neither am I, but I at least can hike.
Yeah.
Well, now how long I can't tell you, but I can hike.
And they knew that it was going to be like a days long hike, but they had like a
and it was like several days long.
Yeah.
The thing was they knew about it. They were supposed to prepare for it, and they were like, oh yeah. Like, and then that's fine. And then they didn't
prepare.
Like they just weren't.
Yeah.
Well,
so already off to a bad start.
Yeah.
And just tensions run high because one, it's you want to stay friends with people that you knew at like really pivotal times in your life. Like you're growing up, you're figuring out who you are, like in college. But then life happens, decisions are made, people change.
Yep.
People change, but also like
priorities change, really.
Yeah, and I think that was the biggest thing here. Was that the priorities of their lives changed because 3 of them mostly grew up and one of them kind of didn't. Yeah. And I think that's but like not that there's anything wrong with that. There's not. Like it's just what you choose to do with your life, but I think there was jealousy on both sides there, and that was very
most definitely,
yeah.
And like personally I can kind of get that because like I definitely can relate to Luke in the sense like I felt for a really long time I'm just like drifting, and even now like I still feel like I never hit like the typical required marks of growing up that most people get. So like I get that, but also at the same time I'm like I'm also kind of free to do whatever the fuck I want.
In your life. Yeah, there's not a blueprint for everybody's life,
Yeah.
And like just a PSA, like it's okay wherever you're at, that's where you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
And if you want to get somewhere else, that's fine too. Like
there's no right or wrong of what you're supposed to do to be like requirement for to being a human.
And I think that's actually a pretty good like script for this book, is because I think people like to compare their lives, and it happens all the time, where people compare where they're at in their life to somebody else's life, and it's like, but you're not on the same journey.
Yeah,
your destination isn't even close to the same destination, and you get there when you get there. Wherever you're at is where you're supposed to be, and if you want to get somewhere else, you just gotta work toward that. Yep. Like it's okay wherever you are.
Yeah.
So I kind of likened this book to the modern French existentialists.
Okay.
So, like, Jean-Paul Sartre.
Go on.
Please explain, Sam, the intelligent one.
Yes. Like, Lauren and I are like, I don't get it.
Like,
so, like, Jean-Paul Sartre and Simone de Beauvoir and those authors.
Oh, yeah, those people.
Sorry.
It's okay. Sam's very intelligent, and we were complimenting her on it earlier.
Yeah.
I like old books.
We all bring our parts and pieces to the table, and Sam has a lot of parts and pieces in her brain that we don't have. So the people who listen for Sam are like, my God, she's so smart. And then they listen to us talk, and they're like,
Here's the
they
thing.
don't know shit.
Here's the thing.
It's not true.
I bet all of our listeners have a little crush on Sam. Because who doesn't have a crush on Sam?
She's amazing.
Everyone.
She's amazing.
Everyone.
Sam's amazing.
Yeah.
Anyway, French, what's they call it?
Existentialist
Yes.
writers, right? So basically, you know, the whole existential dread. Like, there's something out there that is like the big picture, but I'm not part of it. Like, I'm missing. What is fucking life even worth living? What is the point? Kind of thing.
Okay.
I
get
this
it.
book makes more sense now. Thanks, Sam.
Yeah. So like it kind of has that like undertone
Mm-hmm.
throughout it, especially from Luke.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
because he is missing all those like what people would traditionally think of stepping stones to what you do when you become an adult. And so he's missing all them, and the other ones have all like met those milestones and whatnot, and he's just like, fuck this, what the fuck am I even doing? I don't care about nothing.
Yeah.
No.
Well, that's one thing I did appreciate about this is I did like the backstory of like all the different characters, and also how like, yeah, Luke feels like the outsider because he has not met those benchmarks, but on the opposite side we find out that, you know, like Hutch's married life isn't doing great, and neither is Phil's.
I think Hutch
was
was okay.
His business was not doing good. One of them, like, something was not good in Hutch's life. Oh, not Hutch.
No,
Dom.
Dom and Phil's lives were
lives
messy.
were not doing great,
Yeah,
and
Hutch
it's like,
had just gotten married.
yeah. So he was like the one. It's funny because
Hadn't
like
gotten bad yet.
Hutch is supposed to be like the leader of it, and I like how he's not the actual main character. You know,
yeah, he was like the optimist,
be.
but he's also like the one. Spoiler alert! That died first.
yeah,
Yeah.
So it's
Well,
like
I think that's why he wasn't the main character, because he couldn't be.
like that light that he was bringing to everyone fizzled out. Bam! Immediately, and you're like, oh, okay, now we're all in the dread.
Yes.
To me, now that you explained like the existential dread and all of this stuff, I was like, oh, okay, like the theme of the way Luke feels and what's actually happening in the story
Especially
make
the
more sense.
ending and what he was thinking and saying that is really like that puts a nice
Yes.
And it
bow
also
on
makes him not seem as much of like, because I was like, he's kind of a dick, and he is kind of a dick.
He is,
but it kind of makes you feel a little bit more sympathy for him.
Mm-hmm.
But I really like how it's like you're put in this predicament with these friends that you thought were friends that you actually don't connect with anymore, and shit happens. How do you
and they
survive
constantly are trying
like
to
what would you do in that situation?
undermine you and make you feel like a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because they view you as a piece of shit.
Yeah. And like outside of Hutch, I think they were all kind of dicks.
Oh yeah,
But
definitely.
Yeah.
Like Hutch,
I really liked Hutch.
Hutch was good. Luke, the other three were definitely dicks to each other, but they fueled the fire
They
for
did.
each other. Like I
Mhm.
think
They did.
Dom and Phil knew it, and they were teasing Luke. And then whenever he'd clap back at him, they'd be like, "Whoa, why are you freaking out?" It's
Yeah.
like, because you're being a
Whoa,
jerk.
whoa,
Yeah.
bro.
You're fueling the fire.
Overreacting,
Strip off,
man.
bro. And then Hutch
Yeah.
is like, "Why the fuck am I here?"
Yeah. I think Hutch like regretted the whole trip immediately.
I feel like Hutch was he was the in-between man, which is such
Yeah.
a terrible and
It is.
That's
uncomfortable.
exhausting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It is.
trying to like flame both. You know,
like trying to
Fire.
calm
Like,
everybody
calm
the
both fires.
fuck down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I
I
had that
feel
position once. It's
like
awful.
he felt pretty comparable to Luke, but he knew how to like actually save face and be like, all right, you know, like let's all get along, you know. But he inside, like in a couple conversations too during the book, you could tell that he was like, these motherfuckers.
yeah,
Like these dumb idiots. Like, why didn't they do what they were supposed to do? Like, this is part of their problem. But I don't know. I feel like Hutch was the only well-rounded person.
Yeah,
I agree
definitely,
with that
yeah,
completely.
yep. So that's when they make the decision. I think Hutch makes the decision to be like, "Hey, let's take this shortcut."
Which really wasn't a shortcut
No.
because, one, he had no idea what they were going to be, like, getting into.
Mm-hmm.
He just thought, oh, on the map, which, okay, great, but once you're into a place that you've never been before, any kind of terrain can happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't know how overgrown it was. He knew it was virgin forest, so therefore, it's not being, like, I don't know the actual term for it, but when
Groomed or whatever, maintained.
yeah, like when they
Trails
go in
are not
and they
there.
like burn the forest to
Mhm.
actually give it like air to breathe and
Yeah.
continue to like grow.
Yep.
Mhm.
Like the scheduled burns or whatever. So none of that maintenance into the forest was being done because it's a virgin forest. They weren't like doing any of that.
Hutch was doing it for like a shortcut, but I also think he was like, he's the one that really likes exploring, and he's like, oh, I kind of want to just
And
go on an adventure.
He was the most knowledgeable
Yeah.
about the area.
So they were
and the
just
people and
Taking
all that.
his lead.
He and Luke both seemed like they were pretty knowledgeable. Luke
Yeah.
not so much in like the way of
Terrain.
traveling,
Yeah.
But like
but just in
hiking,
how
and,
to-
He was
like,
physically
being outdoors.
able to do
yeah.
it.
yeah.
So yeah, they go through this quote unquote shortcut, and what do they find?
Travesty.
Well, like the very first
Travesty.
wasn't it like first things they come across in this wood is like this animal strung up in a tree,
Yep.
Mhm.
Mhm.
all like funky, like I think if I saw it
Okay, quote. An animal strung up in a tree all funky.
yeah. Like here's the gig. I do a lot of like
That was a weird Russian.
yeah.
Like,
I do a
okay.
lot of walking around in the
No.
woods. And if I'm like walking around and there's a critter strung up in a tree in the manner that they explained,
Yeah.
I'd be like, you know what? I'm gonna leave.
yeah,
I'm
I'd be
gonna,
like,
I'm gonna go back
I
the way
should go
I
this
came.
way.
Yep.
this seems weird.
So it's basically it was strung up with like it would be standing up on its hind legs. It's a deer,
Yeah.
but it's
Like disemboweled.
it's
and stuff,
disemboweled. It's basically cut
Flayed?
from like its rib cage is completely open. It's disemboweled. It's just hanging there, but it doesn't stink, so it's fresh.
Yeah.
And
Which
it was
is even
still-
more scary, honestly.
Yeah,
that
and it
it's
was
fresh.
still dripping a little bit.
And they noted that though. That was the thing
Mhm.
that got me was they like immediately are like, oh, this is a fresh kill hanging in a tree like this. And it's like
yeah, it's
they didn't eat it.
Its skin was tattered, so it was like shredded.
Yeah.
Its head, they couldn't even tell at first what it was,
Mhm.
and then it finally dawned on them that it was like a deer or an elk or some kind of venison. But it's like they didn't realize it until they finally figured out, like saw its head, but it was like in such a way where it was like open mouthed and like hanging and
Gaping,
weird.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think they also are like, what kind of animal
Would put that in a
would
tree?
be able to have the strength to put that a
'Cause it was
deer
fairly
carcass
high up.
in a tree?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
they
they're
were
like,
talking
what
about
the
like,
hell?
oh, maybe it was a bear.
Yeah.
Or
that
like-
was like the overall,
or
like,
hunters,
thought. Yeah.
and you're like,
Why would
would
a
they
hunter
do that?
like take it the fuck up?
And
there,
that high
guys?
up, yeah.
Yeah, and there was no ropes or anything like that. Like, why? What? And why would they do it so sloppily? You would think that they would do it much.
And a hunter would usually be
Take the meat.
eating it.
Yeah.
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 And an animal would usually be
Eating it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not using it as Christmas decorations.
Would it be reindeer in this area?
Oh, maybe.
Is it reindeer because the blood is raining down upon them?
raining blood?
Or because of the area?
Yeah.
Yeah, it just
Oh,
said,
different kind of rain. Gotcha.
yeah,
No.
no, it said. I mean, it does rain a lot in the book, but
Yeah.
not raining blood typically. But yeah, I don't. It just says deer, but
Yeah. So then they don't go backwards. They keep on going forwards.
they just ignore it like
Yep.
fucking white men.
Yeah. And what do they find after that?
A house.
Oh, a spooky haunted
A
house.
cabin in the woods.
Oh, they didn't watch that movie, did
No,
they?
that's about
But
good
it was
movie. I love that
wasn't
movie.
it like raining pretty hard at this
Oh yeah,
point?
no, it's been raining pretty hard. Like, I think now it's like pouring
days.
down rain. Yeah.
So we've got an injured knee, a guy wearing like fucking blue jeans in
Fucking
the rain.
Converse, probably Converse is
Yeah.
probably.
And you know his ass is chapped to shit.
Yeah.
They say something about his thighs being like,
Yeah.
when he finally peeled off his jeans,
They're
it was
like
just
pink.
like he was ripping off skin.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, y'all, but if that was me out in the woods,
I'd be running around naked.
I would not have those pants on.
So basically, they get to this house in the middle of the fucking woods that's all run down, and they're like, well, let's break in, right?
They're like, obviously no one's been here for
Well,
a
because
long
they're
time.
like, well, it's either stay in this house or sleep in our tents, and we have to build the tents
In the
first
rain.
in the pouring rain. So
Yeah.
they go into this creepy ass house.
They start exploring it, and they're like, all right, and like breaking chairs and stuff for firewood, and it's leaky, and there's like an old gun that's been there for a bajillion years that probably don't work for nothing. Then they go upstairs.
Mm-hmm. Well, one person goes upstairs.
Yeah, I think it was Dom.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
So they go upstairs, and they're like, "Bah, come up here!" And the description in the book is much more terrifying than what the movie
They saw.
says.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I thought the same thing when I was
Yeah.
watching the movie. I was like, this
That's
is
not shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that ain't shit for shit.
I was like, no, okay, it's kind of creepy, but like, I don't think I'd be that scared about
Yeah.
it. But
So they went in. A small wooden casket the size of an infant's cradle revealed itself in the dusty yellow underwater light. A coffin, possibly, built from wood and dark with age, or painted black. The other torch, Luke's, lit up the horns that rose from above the two dark eye sockets. Brownish bone, long and thick. Two thin rear legs, ending in hooves, jutted out from the body, then bent at the bony knee joints. Black lips were pulled back above long yellow teeth, a grimace to last for all time beneath nostrils that still appeared curiously wet. Up and down the chest, small pink teats parted the fur.
Teats.
Again.
Titties. Taco teats. Taco titties.
This was the most unpleasant thing of all, which makes me laugh because I'm like, really?
Guys with boobs.
The fact that there were nipples
Yeah.
was like, oh. The thin black forelegs or arms were raised to shoulder height and bent at the elbow. Blackened hands were upturned, the palms facing the ceiling as if it were commanding all before it to rise, or as if the figure had once been holding objects that were now long gone. They recognized that the hands were human hands.
Yeah, that's what I was going to point out.
And had been mummified
Yeah.
and stitched on.
So it's kind of like a combination between an animal and a human
Yes.
yeah.
statue-y thing. It is kind of this whole thing is kind of a mishmash of different like religious stuff. And one quote that I thought was kind of interesting because they were like crucifixes everywhere too.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And it says like after they found that thing upstairs, it says Phil paused on the first of the stairs on his way up and fingered a dark crucifix, which fingered, that seems like not a good term to say right now. Fingered a dark crucifix, but whatever.
I mean, it just means he touched it.
I know, but I was like, ew. And then it says,
Oh.
as if to himself, he said, you'd think they'd make me feel safe, but they don't. Which
Yeah.
I'm like, yep. Like, I would not feel safe with a bunch of fucking crucifixes around in a house.
So, like, that place actually gave me, like, a lot of confusion
Yeah.
because of the obvious deity upstairs,
Mm-hmm.
the crucifixes. There was some other symbolism around, so it's like, did the crucifixes come after as a way to try to like cleanse it, or was that part? Or like, I'm actually looking up right now because I want to know if crucifixes were used in pagan traditions, because like some symbolism I know obviously does, but I don't know this one.
It
for
was
sure.
a very mixed bag.
Yeah.
So they have been used in pagan cultures for like a long time before like the time of Christ, and they could potentially represent the sun in its cyclical nature. The four cardinal directions makes total sense,
Mm-hmm.
but
Oh, yeah.
also fertility and like phalluses.
You know, it actually makes sense that whenever you're like, I want to see if this is a pagan thing, I was like, it probably is, because, you know, a lot of Christianity beliefs and things come from paganism.
Which
like,
I was going to actually
the
say
Christmas
that.
tree.
Yeah.
The Christmas tree was a pagan
Yeah.
thing.
A lot of stuff is
Yeah.
stolen. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff in Christianity. So they're like, oh, you believe that? We do too. See, look.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pagans aren't bad
It makes
people.
a lot more sense now that we mention the phallicness of the cross and Phil's fingering of it.
Yes.
Hey.
Phil's fingering of it. That just rolled off the tongue too easy.
But also, if you
Sorry.
think about it, the cross makes total sense if you're gonna like string someone up.
Yep.
Yeah.
It makes total sense.
It does.
When and if you string that person up.
I mean,
Please do not string people up
Yes.
on our behalf.
Please don't do
that.
it.
Not on our behalf. Don't string people up.
That's
It's not a good,
PC.
it's not a good DIY project.
Unless there's
Please don't.
if it's consented to, then I guess do whatever you want.
Don't. Not even with consent.
I mean,
There's too many legal loopholes.
So they do end up talking about, we get into their backstories. Should we talk about a little bit more about their backstories?
Sure. There were a few things I did want to mention. Like,
Oh, yeah.
So one of the common things that I felt that this book had in it was like rejection and isolation were two really big themes that I felt like ran through the book. Because like Luke feels rejected by his friends, but I feel like his friends probably feel rejected in ways too.
Mm-hmm.
And then he feels
maybe not necessarily from him per se, but there was
general.
like some kind of like judgment feeling. Yes.
Yes.
And then there's like the isolation aspect of like, no shit, they're also like in the middle of the fucking woods, so they're isolated physically, but like they're all personally isolated to their own little worlds as they go through the woods. And I thought that was really kind of an important piece of the puzzle because like it's really easy to judge somebody else as you're going through life and be like, ugh, this and that thing about them, but you don't know what's underneath the surface of that. So it often comes up as being more like where people are argumentative, fighting amongst themselves, but really everybody's fighting their own inner battle and shit, and then they get together and they're so focused on what they're fucking going through
that they attack each other,
that they start attacking each other because they don't recognize the other issues that are actually happening.
That's called misdirected aggression.
Well,
Yes.
that's also called...
and it's like men in the woods. Go fucking figure.
And it's also called insecurity, because that's what happens. And that's one thing about Luke's character that we get to see throughout the book is like, at the beginning, he's like very judgy. First of all, he really fat shames Dom.
I said
and
something
Phil.
about
He
that.
was being a bitch about
there was
that.
a
Like,
lot of body
calm
shaming.
down. Who cares if he's a little overweight?
He's
like,
like,
listen,
I couldn't
sir,
believe how much he'd let himself go.
He doesn't live on cigarettes and fucking alcohol.
Yeah,
so...
like Luke was, and the thing is, it's all insecurity on Luke's part because he's
comparing
saying,
himself to their successes, but he doesn't know their successes are also failures.
Well, and also at the beginning of the book, he's like, "This is what I'm the one that gets to live the free life and do whatever I want." Blah 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 blah. And then slowly throughout the book, he's talking to himself, and he's like, "I've really not done anything with my life. I
he's
struggle
a lot of growth
with
as a character.
I have no friends. I barely have girlfriends. I have anger issues." So he starts to unravel, but that's where all that dickishness comes from, is his insecurities.
Yeah.
But he's taking it out on Dom and Phil, calling them fat and ugly and shit. And it's like, dude, redirect that to yourself, because you don't need to punish them for what you're going through.
It's easier to say, oh, well, they're doing all these things, they're like this, than to actually face your own shit.
Yeah. So I kind of wanted to go back to what Sam was saying about the French what's it?
Existentialist?
Yeah. So I think this quote right here kind of conveys what you're talking about, because it's kind of like one of those throughout the book, especially at the beginning, they're all kind of like, the woods are weird. Like, I know woods could be weird, but these woods are really weird.
Yeah.
And like, there's just like this ominous feeling that they can't fully put their finger on. And I think that kind of goes back to what you're talking about with the French, what's it called?
Existentialism.
Existentialism. I keep on wanting to say French experimentalism, because
that's
a film
different
thing.
kind of
That's a
thing.
film
Oh.
thing. But anyway, so there's a little quote I'll read. So Luke is the one that's pointing out like the woods feel weird.
Yeah.
The actual environment, the trees, the darkness, it's not like any forest I've ever been inside, and I've been in a few. I've been camping with H in Wales and Scotland and Norway, and nothing has ever felt like this. The other forest we saw the first day up here wasn't the same either. Wasn't so rotten and lifeless. And then they keep on going on, but also before this, they've kind of heard some weird noises in the woods and stuff too, that they're like, did you guys hear that? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
But they're also not hearing normal noises, like normal wildlife moving around in the underbrush.
It's like something they can't put their finger on.
Like the wind and the trees, nothing like normal.
Yeah.
It's like silent or weird ass noises.
Like there's not actual life in this forest.
Yeah, and they don't ever really talk about like any other animals.
Yeah, except the dead ones.
Exactly.
Yep.
They talked a little bit about how, several times actually, they bring up how it felt like the forest was kind of enclosing in on them, as well as like it felt like it was fighting them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like it seemed denser than it should. They were like, it doesn't look like it's that dense from the map. And it's like, well, also like, how old is the map?
Also,
like,
again, it's not being maintained because it's virgin forest.
Yeah.
Well, and also we're getting a little ahead of ourselves, but there is another part after they spend the night in this cabin, which we're going to get to. But the next morning, they notice that they're like, there's even more growth now than there was yesterday. Like it's growing way faster than it should. They're like, there's no forest that would grow this fast.
Yeah, it's like way denser.
Yeah.
Do we want to go back to the cabin for a minute?
No, we need to.
Yeah,
because there's a lot that goes on there.
We didn't get back to that. Well, okay. Before we get to that, when they first went in to the cabin.
Sorry, it's usually me saying that. Wait a minute, we're not there yet.
Go back.
Hold on.
Luke almost felt like something was watching them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like when they went in.
Yes.
And he heard like a thump, didn't he?
He heard a noise, but he couldn't like see anything because it was dark and it was raining like crazy. And he kind of just was like, something's not right.
Yeah.
And the other ones were like, get the fuck in here. Who cares? It's raining. It's wet. This will start a fire. And then all the other weird shit that they found. So with him already feeling uneasy and then the shit that they found upstairs, they decided to go to sleep.
Yep.
Yeah. Which, like, there were a lot of things that happened in this book.
Can I just say, as a woman, someone would be fucking awake.
You would think.
We would take turns.
I was gonna say, it's not you would think. We would take turns.
Amber would not, though. She would fall asleep right away, because as many sleepovers that I've been to with you, you were the first to fall asleep.
Because that shit is creepy and ain't no way.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get a good night's sleep.
I don't.
Because what happens when they all sleep, they all have these weird fucking dreams.
Mm-hmm.
But there
quote unquote dreams.
There was something else that was mentioned, and it kind of is what makes me wonder too if this is why they went to sleep. They said something like, we were not capable of making rational decisions or something like.
Oh,
there's
I know
a mention of that.
Yeah, I know exactly what quote you're talking about. Hold on. Everyone's judgment was impaired. Nothing said or done now could be trusted, but somehow it wouldn't be forgotten or forgiven.
Yes.
That was actually like on page 25, so a while ago.
I was going to say it happened before they went into the cabin.
They're all so tired and just delirious that, they're not.
When you're
making,
exhausted,
and they're taking shots because after they got to the house and saw that thing, they're like, well, that's fucked up. Let's do some shots of Jack Daniels.
Some more scream about this because fuck.
Let's drink about it.
Yep. I mean, they're like already starting to ration things. It's been raining all day, so they're already miserable and terrible moods. And some of them are in pain, and the other ones are just like, I cannot fucking stand you right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like, and you're exhausted, so
I've
like
been
you're
on
not
that vacation before.
This is why my camping experiences have not been the greatest, to say
for
the
all
least.
involved.
They all had really weird, vivid dreams. So yeah, Luke has some very vivid dreams, and he's the first to wake up from those dreams. And he sees Hutch. He wakes Hutch up, who was like
screaming
in an active nightmare.
Yeah.
And Hutch had pissed himself.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, where's Phil and Dom? Yeah. So they find Dom outside, just standing looking into the forest.
Chapter 14 is literally one page, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
Because they did a chapter on each of their dreams.
Yes, yeah. Which was
cool.
Interesting. Yeah, that was really cool.
They found Dom outside, kneeling in the long, wet grass, wearing just his underwear and a t-shirt.
I was going to say, one of them was just in their, like, underwear.
I feel very, like, my first time ever really, truly getting high was like this.
Did you see a spirit in the woods?
No, I was sitting outside. We were, like, camping at this friend's, like, their family's cabin. It was like ages old, right? It's like up on fucking cinder blocks. It's so old because they had previously moved it from a different area, and there was
the
no
foundation was nothing.
like running water barely existed.
Yeah,
and
the plumbing was not there.
It was old as fuck, right? And I was like sitting there in the grass, like, is this what it's like to be an X-Man? I can literally see every single leaf and hear every single leaf rustling. And I feel like had I been in my underwear, this would have been the exact same thing.
So they wake up Dom, aka Sam, who was
outside
around in his underwear, just taking in the trees. And then they go upstairs and they find Phil doing what?
He's doing some stuff.
He's like praying to that thing.
Yeah,
That thing. But he's also asleep, so they have to wake him up.
Yeah, so, I mean, which is also, they're like, don't ever wake up a sleepwalker. Well, they fucking wake him up. And he is freaked out.
Yeah. He's like, what the hell's going on?
It's kind of, I hate to use the word cute, sweet. I don't know, but they like,
Adorable.
they treat him like a child, and they're like, it's okay.
Oh, yeah.
Come on. They use him with
comfort him a
the
little bit.
baby hands, you know?
Yeah. Because they're like, this is fucked up, but let's get you downstairs.
Yeah, yeah.
They didn't want to be like, what the fuck, Phil?
Yeah,
They-
First you're figuring a crucifix, and now you're praying to the thing?
What the fuck?
Yeah.
And like you pissed all over shit because there's like urine smell up here.
Yeah.
Well, and they did that to Hutch
He
too.
was also
He's
crying.
like, "Come on, mate, let's get you sorted." That's
Yeah.
kind of what they said. and
Yeah,
then
they
moved
were all
on.
kind of like,
They-
shit happened. We don't know fully how to understand what happened, but we all did some weird things, apparently.
Such a typical man response. You know, let's ignore what happened.
Yeah, I was about to say, and then their response to their response was very normal, man. Like,
Yeah.
We're gonna
Let's
pretend
not
this
address
never,
that
ever.
at all.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, nothing embarrassing or weird happened.
Yeah.
It's fine.
what the fuck happened at the house? I don't know. Let's move on.
We were
Let's
in a
go
house.
deeper into the woods.
Yes. That's what they do. They start walking again.
And that could be, you know what? That might even be a little bit of a reference to something is, yeah, let's not talk about that. Let's just get deeper into the thick of shit.
It's so metaphorical.
Yeah.
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 Definitely.
But
You're so
also,
smart,
like,
Amber.
Also, like a weird ass fucked up trauma response.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
we're gonna ignore this, but we're just gonna keep going because obviously it's
that is
always
probably
at the
pretty
better at the
standard.
end,
That's a
Well,
standard
like,
trauma.
right? It's gotta be better at the end.
Power through it. Just power through
Ugh.
it.
But they do talk about, like, well, maybe we should go back the way we came.
But they
Or-
never fucking
Yeah.
do.
No.
I have a question, though. If they had chosen to turn back at any point,
I
do
think
you
the woods
think...
would have fucked them up. Yeah.
I was going to say, do you think it would have turned out any differently had they chosen
Mm-mm.
to turn around?
I don't think they would have been able to find their way back.
I think once they crossed
Truthfully.
that threshold,
Yeah.
the woods took over, and because it's not
Yes.
just, I mean, there's shit going on. There's things that we will meet, but I think the woods themselves are
They're living things.
maybe
We're
not
gonna-
possessed. But
we're gonna
like,
talk
it's a
about
thing.
that.
It's a whole fucking thing. So yeah, they're tramping through the woods again,
Because
and
they got scared.
what happens now?
They find more houses.
Yeah, but they don't go into those houses.
They don't go in.
But
They're
they
like,
find
oh, look,
ones.
houses. Fuck those houses.
Yeah. They're like,
And they're like,
"Mm,
All these
maybe
houses
not."
are so fucking old.
Yeah, maybe not. We're just gonna
Do you
go
guys
back.
remember what? We don't talk about that thing.
Yeah.
They're like, we're gonna look from afar and
suppress
ignore.
your emotions.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Yep. So Luke goes off on his own and he finds some runes
Which were cool.
and like some kind of tunnel thing, right?
Wasn't it?
He like climbs through some tunnel thing.
I didn't think it was.
I
a
think
tunnel
it was
thing.
like
I couldn't
a tunnel
understand.
in the brush.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was like, it was
the
in
brush
the
was
runes?
kind of like kind of making a tunnel in a sense.
Yeah.
It was just like he was tunneling through like a fucking
rabbit,
rabbit.
like a growth of thing. Okay, yeah. So he went through a bunch of shit and he found this graveyard in this creepy ass church.
Which was like, that's like my dream though. Like what he found, I was like, I would fucking love to find some
I
shit
would
like that.
die to find something like that.
But also
Not under these circumstances.
not in the way that he did.
Not
I'd be
ideal.
like, because
Not
okay.
ideal circumstances, no.
as women, Would we have made any of the choices that have happened in this book so far?
Absolutely not.
No. Would we have been like, let's go through uncharted territory because it looks like a shortcut?
I'd be like, you can go fuck yourself. I'm going to go hike that trail myself. I'll come back for you motherfuckers.
Yes.
You sit and you stay.
I tell you
Listen,
what.
bitch, you should have worn different pants, and you should have worn different shoes, and you should have prepped.
And
Get
you
the fuck over
And
better
it.
I
know.
probably told you that already.
I
Yes.
definitely would not have been fingering those crucifixes. That's for sure.
He came back to tell the others what happened, like what he found, and then Dom, like, was a dickhead.
Yeah, he was kind of goading him. He calls Luke a silly arse and, you think I'm enjoying this? And Hutch goes, Dom, quietly. But there was something in that rebuke, something about Dom's flat, stolid, scowling face, and something in Hutch's supporting grin that made Luke think his vision had lightened. As if the terrible pressure of rage that suddenly filled his body again had forced the darkness out of his eyes. He felt weightless and could hear nothing but a hot rushing through his ears. His voice seemed to originate from somewhere outside of his head. He didn't recognize himself in his own voice, as if it was recording played back to him to his embarrassment. You call me that again and I'll put you on your fucking arse. And they keep on going back and forth. So Luke
is
goes,
the one who continues.
Luke said, did you hear me, bitch? He shouted into
Biatch.
Dom's face and watched a droplet of froth from his own shouting mouth hit Dom's cheekbone. Luke, Hutch shouted from beside him. Whoa! But he was not to be brought out of this trembling mad place until something snapped him out of it. With both hands, he shoved Dom backwards hard. Dom lost his balance and dropped his weight onto his bad knee and then fell sideways into the undergrowth.
It says, then Dom was coming at him, limp gone. Hutch was knocked aside. The whites of Dom's eyes were going pink-red. His freckled knuckles moved slowly and then made a wet slap sound against Luke's mouth. That he felt like was a push, not a blow, but it made his top lip instantly go numb.
And then
Dom
Hutch
is
tries to get in the
"You
way.
fuck."
And Dom is like yelling, yeah, you fuck. And then Luke just fucking loses it and attacks Dom. Like severely attacks him to the point where he really fucked him up.
Like he broke his nose.
Yeah, yep. Like it was like very uncontrolled, unhindered rage.
But I feel like it wasn't this is that misplaced aggression again. I feel like it wasn't necessarily Dom that he was fighting at that instance. Initially, yes.
Yeah.
But then when he didn't stop, it was like
all that rage.
Was way more than Dom.
No,
I think it was the fact that they were in this nasty situation in the first place. He was angry about that. It was all of his life that he's been angry about, the life situation he's in. It's just all misplaced
aggression,
anger and aggression toward another aggressor.
Yeah.
Because
that was the actual opportune moment.
Yeah.
It just broke and he was having a hard time stopping it.
Yeah.
Well, and Luke talks a lot about how
his aggression,
how short-tempered he is.
Yeah. That's a catalyst, I think, in the book where, Luke already felt like the outsider, but this really catapulted him to be, quote unquote, the bad guy.
Yes.
Because,
outsider.
And yeah, he definitely should not have done that, but also Dom goaded him into doing that.
Yeah.
So he's not completely at fault, but he definitely should not have done that.
He's complicit in the actions, but he actually was being fairly cool about the bullshit that they were talking to him.
Yeah.
And making fun of him and just the quips that they were saying to him beforehand.
Yeah.
And they just kept on doing it. They didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
It was Phil and Dom against
Luke. Hutch was just trying to be the middleman.
For the most part, Hutch was trying to be middleman. And I think there was a moment where, I think it was actually at that moment, right before all that happened, that Luke felt like Hutch wasn't necessarily siding with them, but that he was tickled by something.
He was getting a little bit of they're all against me kind of thing. Yep.
And I think that's kind of what led to that moment.
All right, so then they end up going to the church.
Yep.
After all
Hutch
this.
and Luke go into the church and Dom and Phil stay outside.
And they end up finding human remains in the church. Which leads them to believe that sacrifices were made at some point.
Quite a few,
Well,
yeah.
they said it was animal and human remains
Both.
mixed together.
But
yeah.
they realized that
thought
there
it was
were
animals
human
at first.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then they were like, oh shit, there's actually humans in here too.
Well, and they said they were like children. They thought they were really small.
They keep on bringing up how like
small
the skeletons are, and like they kind of bring up how old everything is. It's like ancient, like because I think Hutch is like a anthropologist or some shit, or one of them is really knowledgeable of like
Hutch
history.
is very knowledgeable.
Yeah.
They kept talking about how little the things were, but then they talked about how they looked really old, but then they were like, but not that old. Some of them weren't that old.
Yeah, like there's a varying degree of which is kind of unsettling.
Bones.
It's kind of like how unsettling it was to find the deer hanging and it was like a fresh kill. So at some point when they're at the church, Luke does try to apologize a little bit, but I feel like the apology's not really accepted. They kind of brush it off and they're like, well, no, you went too far. Like, it was kind of like an unforgivable type of thing, I think, in their minds.
Yes.
You know? And that made Luke feel even worse.
Yes.
Well, I think, too, like, they probably realized that they also went too far, but they're not going to apologize for that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. Again.
Men.
Yep.
I'm a fucking dick. I'm a dick, too, but I'm a deer. We're
all
dicks, but we're not going to talk about what dicks we
I
are.
might have slapped you first, but you hit me harder.
This, yeah.
Yeah, you broke my nose, you bitch.
And then also we get more into like kind of Luke and his anger stories, which I don't know if we want to talk about or not, but I found that a little interesting.
He like goes to this place in his mind where he's remembering like a past event where he was on like a subway. Subway train station.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he like, I don't even remember what happened. Like, I think the guy pushed past him and he just like fucking went ape shit on him and like fucking beat the shit out of that guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then left.
Yeah. Like nothing happened. Everybody's just standing in horror looking at him and he's like, all right, I'm done, and like fucks off.
Well, and also if you think about it, he got away with it, so that means he didn't have any ramifications for his anger issues or anything.
Right.
And he, in this way he's telling it, he knows that he got away with it and that he didn't have to confront it at that time, but now he's having to confront it because he can't escape these people that he's trapped in the woods with.
Yeah.
And there was also this paragraph that it's kind of him thinking to himself. This was before he tried to apologize and had a conversation with Hutch and stuff. He sighed. If he were honest, something had happened to him in his late 20s that seemed to maneuver him away from other people, not just his friends, but from the normal course of human affairs. He'd begin to catch people exchanging glances whenever he spoke up in group situations, or they would be half smiling when he entered the offices and warehouses he worked in. But he never stayed for very long before he moved on to something else equally unsatisfactory. Invitations to join others lessened, then ceased before he was 32. Only damaged and insecure women seemed to find comfort in his company, though they had little interest in him besides his being a confirming presence. By 34, he was lonely, genuinely. So it kind of goes to, he just really feels like an outsider. There kind of was like a little bit of like, I think, paranoia in that too.
I was gonna say,
because
it
I
sounds
think
like
he's thinking
perception.
people are thinking of him in a certain negative way that they might not be.
You see this in
which might be a self-esteem thing.
Most definitely.
It is. Like, you see this a lot in people who are struggling with depression or any kind of mental health illness, or just mental health struggling in general. You see this where they have a specific perception of themselves or how others perceive them, whether it's true or not. And they convince themselves of this, and then they isolate themselves, whether it's intentional or unintentional, and then it furthers their condition.
Yeah, because they're not helping the situation. Right. They're making it worse.
They're not doing anything, but they don't recognize it when they're doing it, like, most of the time.
And that's exactly what he's doing.
Know. Yeah.
He's like, oh, I lost contact with my friends. I don't really date a girl for a long period of time.
I can't hold the same job.
Yep.
People don't invite me places anymore. And it's like, yeah, but how much of that is because you're not
confronting your issues?
Or you're not participating in conversations because you feel like you're
I
being
also
perceived
feel
a
like
certain way.
miserable attracts miserable.
True.
Yeah.
So, like, and I am not saying that he hasn't had any kind of experience that would be terrible, but, like, you know, a lot of times when people like, when you walk in a room, people are like, it's because you're giving a negative aura.
Mm-hmm.
And people sense that. And it's just like animals, they sense that. And they're like, oh, not this motherfucker again. Like, you know, like, oh, what's he gonna say now? Like, of course that's gonna be an uninviting atmosphere. Because if you give nothing but negativity, that's what people expect. And people don't like that. I'm sorry, they just don't. It could be your life. It could be real, but they're gonna be like, this guy again. No.
Yeah.
Well,
you know?
and like the thing where he's like, I really only attracted a certain type of woman, whatever.
Yeah.
Misery loves company. It's kind of like what you just said.
Well, and also,
That's
if he's
thing.
literally saying that, that means he didn't treat those women very well.
Oh, I agree.
Like, he was probably
But
such a dick
also-
to them.
But also, if you are perceiving yourself as being a shitty human, and then you project that, like, that's usually what you're probably gonna get.
So they check out this church, and they're like, oh, creepy shit in that church.
But they're like, also, nothing's been removed. Nothing's carted off to a museum, as Hutch points out.
Yeah. Well, which makes sense because it's uncharted woods. Like, no one's discovered it yet.
He's
They
like,
are the
nobody's
first
ever
ones to
been here.
discover it.
Mhm.
Discover it, yeah.
It's as Hutch's voice lowered even further, and if we weren't lost and soaked and hungry, it would be pretty cool to discover it.
Mm-hmm.
We'd make the papers. And then Luke is like, but now it's just freaky and scary.
Yeah, which I get. Yeah.
He's
It's
like, exactly, we'll still make the papers for another reason.
Yeah.
Like, at this point, I don't think they're necessarily afraid for their lives other than
they're just
getting
like,
out of there.
scared.
They don't really... I mean, they might think there's some supernatural things going on, but I think at this point they're more just like concerned about getting out of the woods.
Yeah.
More, they're like, this place is creepy. It's freaking me out. We're gonna get out of here and have a beer and have a laugh about it and talk about how creepy it was. But they don't think that it's like legit.
Well, because they started talking too about like how somebody at the like inn or whatever that they had booked might recognize that they didn't check in or whatever. And then he's like, yeah, but how many people don't check into their...
Well, Hutch didn't
places.
actually ended up doing it because it wasn't during the winter months.
Oh.
So they weren't really expecting them.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
There's a point where they're like thinking about all the people that would be expecting them, and it's like, okay, well, Phil's estranged from his wife, so like she's not
don't
going to be
give a
thinking
fuck.
of him. Dom, I think, had some weird marital issues too, but
Yeah, they
mainly
were
business
separated.
separated, so like no one's gonna be thinking about
She
him.
didn't like
The only one is Hutch and his newly wed wife.
Because like Luke doesn't really talk to his parents all that often.
Yeah.
So like he was like, well, it could be months before they even suspect anything, and he hadn't been seeing his girlfriend very long, so like what would she even
Yeah.
do? So it wasn't long after they had kind of had that discussion when Phil started screaming outside.
Yes. Yep. Because didn't he see stuff hanging in the trees again or something?
No.
Well,
I don't think it was...
he said Phil stood knee-deep in undergrowth with his back to the chapel, staring into the overgrown cemetery. When he turned about, his face was tight with shock and terror, the same expression he had that morning when they found him naked and incoherent in the hovel. His trousers were undone. He must have been taking a piss. If he had not been so disturbed by what he had just seen, it might have been funny. And they were like, what's wrong? He's like, I don't fucking know!
which is me responding to anything fucking
Right?
weird that I've ever... I don't know what that was!
Yeah. Like, there is, like, something fucking freaky out here, and I don't like it.
What's wrong? I don't know. I can't process this.
Yeah.
They do describe like hearing more ominous sounds in the woods, and they're like, I can't place it whether it's a bovine or a jackal, or like they're like it's a mixture of different animals.
A dog.
A bovine cough and a jackal's bark.
Yep.
Bestial. Ferocious.
Uh-huh.
I wrote that part in there because I was like, oh, that's perfect.
Yep. So they end up having to spend the night because, you know, it's getting late. And I think Phil and Dom are in a tent, and then Hutch and Luke are in a tent together.
No.
Hutch
Oh, wait,
and
no,
Dom.
no, no.
Dom and Hutch are in a tent.
Phil and
Luke
Oh,
are in
okay.
another.
Gotcha,
And they were
gotcha.
pissy about it.
Yeah.
Nobody was happy about the situations except for, like, Hutch and Dom, because they were the ones that had become kind of best friends.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Hutch and Luke had a conversation where he's like, somebody needs to go ahead.
Yeah.
and I'm going to do it, and you stay here with the guys because the guys aren't going to hang out with
Like
me.
Luke saying, I'm going to do it.
Luke's going to go, and Hutch is going to hang out with Phil and Dom because he knows that they're not really capable of getting through the woods by themselves, and he wants to go out and get help. So he's like, that's how I'll make it up to them. Basically, that's what he kind of kept saying in his head is, I'll make it up to them by getting them out of this. Mm-hmm. And so his plan is to track off by himself in the morning after they wake.
Mm-hmm. At first, Luke heard the screams from a distance inside his dream, and then someone's terror was all around him as he lay with his eyes open, staring at the dark roof of the tent he shared with Phil. What is it? What is it? What is it? Phil repeated in a daze, but within his tone was also an underlying note of acceptance, as if he had been expecting the disturbance and now it had arrived. He only wanted to know specific details.
And then their movements and their words stopped, as did Dom's wailing. All was frozen into silence by the sudden roar of pain unleashed by Hutch. A short expulsion of noise from an agony so great it made the listeners feel sick. It was followed by a childlike whimper and nothing more. Mm-hmm. So, like, they'd heard, like, sounds of cloth ripping and thrashing in bushes, and then all of that, like, Dom screaming, and then Hutch in his silence.
Yeah, and like weird animal noises, too.
Yes.
So they find Dom, but they have no idea where Hutch is at.
Right. They could see some blood in the tent. They could see that the tent was ripped open.
They went, like, running into the fucking darkness, trying to find Hutch. And they finally realized, like, this is just...
We can't do anything right now.
Yeah. It's pointless.
It's pointless. We can't see anything. We can't hear anything. Like, how are we going to help him if we get lost?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Luke is like, we need to go through Hutch's stuff. We need to get his light. We need to get his map.
And his compass.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's get those
he had all
things.
the tools.
Mm-hmm. And then the other guys were really pissed.
Because that's what he's thinking about.
Yeah. And then I think it was Dom, maybe it was Phil, looked into the tent and recognized why. Like, Luke had just made this decision. It was because there was no fucking way that Hutch was still alive. There was too much blood.
Yeah. Dom was like, what are you suggesting? We just take off, cherry pick his gear. Yeah. It's like, well, I'm pretty sure he's probably not alive.
We're all in survival mode right now, so...
Well, like, and I thought it was very interesting that Luke was the one to kick into survival gear so quickly. And not really, because it seemed like Luke had a pretty good idea.
He kind of wasn't a natural on that kind of shit.
Yeah. I feel like he lived his life in survival mode.
Yeah.
So, like,
and a lot of people who are like that
whim,
do that.
You know? Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, sure, maybe we fly by the seat of our pants, like, through life, but whenever you're in a crunch and, like, in a survival situation, those people who are kind of the fly-by-night kind of person usually are pretty good in a crunch.
Well, I also think it's interesting because, you know, he was making all these decisions of, like, I'm going to go ahead.
Yes.
We need to find the compass. We need to find the map as, like, a practical situation. And they were looking at it as a non-empathetic situation, you know, which I totally get because emotions are high, but, like, he's thinking of things. He's trying to shut off that part of his brain and, like, being a survivor rather than, like, okay, I can't think about that right now. I need to think about how to get us out of this situation.
Right.
So they go back to the tent. They try to sleep. They probably don't sleep very much. And then the next day, they continue going. And what do they find?
Hutch in the twee.
Hutch in the twee.
Yeah.
Hutch in the twee in the woods. Hutch in the twee in the woods. Zangling.
He was strung up just like the deer they found.
Oh dear.
The first. Oh dear.
Didn't they compare him to, like, maybe it was at the end. They compared one of them to looking like a parachute.
Yeah, so he basically looked like the deer that they found originally in the tree.
Which is so fucked up. Like, imagine. Yeah. I don't want to imagine. Like, that would be so fucking traumatic.
Well, and they said something like, they said it had to have put him there.
Yep.
It was behind us, and it got ahead of us to intentionally put him in our direction.
Yep, so that they would see.
And they were like,
him.
it's following us.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they're like, what the fuck is this thing?
Yes.
Yep.
And they kept talking about all the different animals it could be. I remember they talked again about the animals it could be, and they kept going back to bear, and I was like,
It's not a bear.
It's not a bear, guys. But
Well, at some point, Phil was like, they were talking about the church, like, after that whole shit happened. And they were like, they sacrificed people, I think. And they're like, to something. And Luke was like, when that church was open for business and that cemetery wasn't so overgrown, the people in that basement were in a really bad way murdered. And Phil raised his face to look at a portion of the sky visible through the canopy. They hung them, strung them up for it. I think it was younger then, but it's still here. They're gone. The old people I saw in my dream who fed it, but it is still here.
Yeah. So they're making the connection that Hutch was a sacrifice.
Yeah, it was something out there that was stalking them and using them as prey.
Yep.
Also, during this time, they are starting to basically dwindle on supplies.
Oh, yeah. They have like granola bars at this point. And
Yeah.
like a little bit of water or something.
And some chocolate, which they're hoarding. Well, Luke is hoarding. And the other two are just basically downing multiple, like,
yeah, they're not
protein bars
rationing at all.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
Which Luke is like, what the fuck? Why are they like...
what is
Because-
wrong with you?
because they're not fit for
Yeah.
this kind of an outing.
But it's
You know, a 3 to 4 day hike, let alone a 3 to 4 day hike when you're getting attacked by a supernatural being. Like,
Yeah.
come on now.
Well, they also
granola bars
just
are not
don't-
going to fit.
sometimes don't seem to, like, realize the, like,
You need to
Gravity
ration.
of
the
the
danger
situation?
and the gravity of the situation. Exactly. They're just like, I'm hungry, I'm gonna eat these.
Like, I think they do, but they don't
Yeah.
realize how to deal with it.
Yeah,
And Luke
I mean, that's
does
very
know
possible,
how kind
yeah.
of like to, yeah.
So then, like, Luke climbs a tree.
Well, yeah, they find a hill that they're like, let's camp on the hill because that way we
Yeah.
have like a higher ground where we could maybe see things.
Which is a whole ordeal to get them both up there because
Yeah.
Dom and Phil are both, like,
All
injured
fucked up.
in some sorts of way.
Mhm.
And they're like, oh no. They're like being little bitches about it. And, like, Luke is like, for fuck's sake, come on. So he finally gets them up there.
Yeah,
It
and
takes a moment.
yeah, it
Like-
takes a while,
Yeah.
but he's actually being pretty patient with them at this point.
Well, I think he also felt bad for, like, punching Dom in the
Yeah,
face.
no, he definitely
Well,
did.
There was, like, talk of Luke still going on by himself and leaving Phil and Dom.
But they were
Yeah.
kind
And
of
they were
against
like,
it.
Fuck you! You're just gonna leave us
Well,
here,
they thought it was a
basically.
selfish thing.
Yeah. And
But
he's
it-
like,
yeah.
no.
It's like, I'm literally trying to get us out of here. So if I go and get help, they can help you too.
Because
Like,
I could get out of here way faster than all of us can.
taking us days upon days because you guys' injuries. you
Yeah.
know?
And do you think that it would have turned out differently if that
No,
had happened?
Absolutely
no,
not.
I don't
because
either.
the woods have control of them.
Yes.
I don't think that they realized that. I think they
No.
were still stuck
No.
in, like, he's being selfish and didn't like them and, like, was trying to be an asshole about it. But
Yeah.
it wouldn't have made any difference.
No, I agree completely.
So then Luke climbs a tree to like see if he could see like a end in sight, like a destination to go to. And there's like this point where he's just like, I see like
The out.
something.
Mhm.
I
I
see
can
the
see
out,
the
and he
end.
has a little bit of like a sigh of relief.
Like, there's hope.
yeah,
Yeah. And it was 7 kilometers from, they were about 7 kilometers from getting out, which isn't quite 5 miles. It's like 4.83 miles or
Yeah.
some shit.
yeah. But through the woods, that makes it even
It-
longer. Feeling,
yes,
for
and
sure.
that's-
And then they're
That's
hurt
something I
too.
pointed out.
Like,
yeah.
5 miles doesn't sound like much, but
depends
2
on
are
the terrain
injured
and
they're fighting terrain.
Yeah.
That's literally what I wrote in my notes.
So we had a very brief sigh of relief, and then what happens?
There's a scream from below, and then
goodbye.
and then Phil's gone. And Dom's like, I just saw him. I just been over for
Mhm.
boiling water or some shit.
Yep.
And Phil was missing and they couldn't find him.
I think it was interesting that that it was Luke and Dom, the people that disliked each other
The most, yeah.
that were
No.
like left together.
I kind of really like that though, because yeah, so like Phil gets attacked, goes away, like he's gone. And so Luke runs down and is kind of like trying to comfort Dom.
Yeah.
And they actually have this kind of like heart to heart
They make
thing.
amends.
And I remember like just being like, I just really like that conversation that they had together.
Mhm.
Do you think that would have happened if it hadn't been a life or death situation?
No,
No.
Yeah.
absolutely not.
I think they would have
just been bitches towards each
For
other
the
for the rest of their lives.
Well,
Yep.
because it's a thing. It's like, you know, when emotions are high, things are happening, you become a lot more vulnerable and you will be open to more things. And I think this is that breaking point where they're damn broke, where they're like, okay, all this shit has happened. It's just us. Let's just let our emotions out, talk to each other, be real with each other. And that's what really happened. And that's why they had a good conversation, is because they were both real with each other and with their situations and not trying to hide behind a facade.
Yep. And they're all they had left.
Yeah. Yep.
That's it.
Yep. So I definitely really like that conversation between the two of them.
I think it also comes back to the whole existentialism thing where they're both seeing kind of almost from each other's point of views. Like, what is life kind of thing. Because by now, Luke already knows, like, the issues that Dom has been having in his life, where they're seeing each other in a different light. And they're being forced to, one, be together, but also to work together. And it's just like, Dom actually says at this one point, he's like, everything I wanted to get away from for a week, I'm desperate to see again. And it's fucking crazy.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's like, okay, so they're both miserable in their own way, but now that there's this situation where they're both potentially gonna die, they're like having a moment of clarity where like, this is really not that important, like our beef with each other.
Yeah. In the grand scheme of things.
Everything that I thought I hated actually is very important to
when
me.
you're confronted with life and death, what really matters are the little things in life. You know?
I have to pee again.
All right, let's take a break.
I'm really hungry.
I heard your tummy growl. For some reason, I highlighted interaction with monster in chapter 40.
Oh, no.
Yes.
I know why.
Okay. I was like, that doesn't ring a bell to me, but I
So
highlighted it.
Dom and Luke, like, Dom tried to convince Luke to go ahead on his own, and Luke was like, I'm not leaving you here.
Yeah.
And so, like, Luke was like, I'm not leaving you here.
Yeah, now
sorry.
he switched his, because they had that heart-to-heart, and Luke's like, I'm not leaving you now.
Yeah.
So very
'Cause
Jane
we're just-
Austen of them.
At this point, we're in it together.
Yeah.
Which I kind of get.
Yeah, you're like, it's literally two of you now. You're
Yeah.
like,
So then they, like, encounter the beast.
Encounter the beast.
And Luke throws a rock at it.
like lobs this
That'll do a
motherfucking
great-
rock.
That'll do great. That'll do damage.
And it gets, like, pissed.
Oh yeah, it's real mad.
I mean, if I was a monster in the
And
woods
then-
and someone threw a rock at me, I would be pissed too.
And then Luke goes unconscious, right?
Because it threw it back.
Okay, is that what
Oh,
happened?
Yeah.
I didn't understand what happened. Okay, so it chucked it back at him and like knocked him unconscious.
Yeah, because
wasn't
he
fully
hit
sure.
it with the rock and
Diane.
it yelled in pain, and then it was like, fuck you! And it threw it back and it cracked him in the skull and knocked him out.
Oh,
Yeah.
see, I was like confused. I knew something hit him in the head, but I didn't know what it was.
It was stalking them, but it was like being smart by like staying downwind
Oh,
to
so
where they
couldn't,
couldn't
like,
smell it anymore
Yeah.
because it had a stench to it.
Of course it did.
And it was like basically creeping around, and Luke saw it at one point around Dom, like his like the tent and whatnot, and then he ended up throwing the rock.
Well, and I think at this point they're both getting kind of delirious because they haven't eaten in a long time. They have no water.
They're
And so they're
exhausted,
kind of
yeah.
both like in and out of consciousness of like what's real, what's not real. So then they end up finding Phil hanging from a tree just like Hutch was. And
You
just
know,
like that deer was.
He's just like a Christmas ornament.
He's
It's
little-
fine.
And at that point you're like, well, yeah, I saw that coming. Like,
Yeah.
Of course Phil would be, because like honestly, it would be kind of insulting if the monster killed him and then didn't hang him up. Because it's like, okay, you hung Dom up, but not me.
And the
I
deer?
am not important enough to be a sacrifice.
You hung the
Fuck
deer.
you. Yeah,
But not me.
right? I would be pissed if I was Phil and he did not hang me up, honestly.
Yeah, that's fair.
I very much felt like it fed into their anger toward each other. Like, I feel like it affected them in the way it targeted them and in the way it preyed upon them, I guess.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
definitely.
I get
It
that,
had
yeah.
Yeah.
individual things, yeah.
And so, yeah, it did. It fed into their isolation because it was doing that.
Mm-hmm.
But it also fed into their like false sense of security. because it always happened when they were together.
Yeah.
But it was always so fast.
So there's this quote that I wanted to read as they're walking through the forest together. Behind him, he sensed Dom's shape, stepping carefully in his footsteps, maybe watching out for him should he suddenly lose his balance and collapse into the stinging morass of vine and spike. Every step he took was followed by one of Dom's. There was even something comforting in the way they moved in synchronicity. And Dom was so close to him now. The presence of his bulk was tangible at Luke's back. But God, he stank. Even his nose and mouth were full of dry blood. Luke could smell Dom's heavy breath and sweat-saturated clothes. Did you guys think at that moment that it was Dom who was behind him?
Oh, no. They're definitely being followed by...
Well, because he turned around and he saw it wasn't him. And then he said, well, maybe he then walked off in another direction, blind and oblivious with exhaustion and pain from his knee, stumbled away from Luke and got himself lost. Could not have done, because as Luke so recently walked through the nettles, he had heard Dom close at his heels, almost on top of him. Had not seen him, no, but had heard him and sensed him, and you cannot be mistaken about that. They had been close together, almost touching. The stench. Luke raised his knife. So that was like when he recognized that it wasn't Dom following him. He he had turned around and he's like, how long has it been since I've seen him?
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's the stink.
It's been a long time since he's seen Dom. Which is like so unsettling. Like, I remember reading that and being like, that's fucking creepy.
Well, and it's because I know why he hadn't. He thought he was right behind him.
Well, yeah, no.
And he's got that head
It's a mind
injury.
game. It's a mind fuck.
Yeah, and he's just kind of like, I just have to stay conscious and keep going. I have to.
Yeah.
And
He's
I've
keeping up
been
with
in
me.
that
Gotta
spot.
keep going. He's keeping up with me. Well, and also, I get the sense that the monster is following him, but I also get the sense that that ancient civilization, that the culty people,
Also, other things.
beings.
Like little people, like kind of saying like little people and...
Yeah.
They were white and they were dancing but he couldn't really tell either. I wonder if it's partly because he had terrible vision like myself, or he had the TBI. Like, which one?
Yeah, right. A little
He had
combination
blood
of both.
like in his eye and stuff.
He dry heaved against a tree.
All right, that's a good way to start that.
Yeah.
That sucks.
That's the end of the last
He's
one.
having a bad day.
Yeah.
At 10, his vision was down to 5 feet, so he can't see very far in front of him. But he continued hobbling in the dark, a blurry void that was more disorientation than direction. His head was down, eyes mostly closed, but he suffered a sudden sense that he was not alone. Luke looked up, certain that the presence of other figures had encroached into his immediate space. And he saw in the dimming gloom between the trees a whole host of little white figures, upright, perfectly still, repeated to the ends of his vision. He screwed up his good eye and blinked.
He passes out, he wakes up, and he's like, why didn't it kill me yet?
Yeah, he does ask that. Yeah, he's like, what the fuck? Everyone else was dead, so why am I not dead yet?
He's in the room, he's in a bed, there's like bed bugs and things biting him, but it's in one of those weird box beds that they
Like
saw
what they were talking about.
At the church and the
house.
Yeah.
Described as being like coffin-like, because he
Yeah.
said it felt like it could have a lid.
Yes.
Ugh.
And it was like old
Musty,
and dirty
blah, blah,
and
blah.
musty, and there were bugs biting him, and he also pissed himself a couple times, and things.
I mean, that point, why not?
Whatever, man. You passed out. Who cares? Okay.
And I think this is where we get introduced to these people. 3 people that have
Turd heads.
3 turd heads that have animal masks on.
And then a little
Old lady.
prude.
And a little prude. 3 turd heads and a prude. That
Sounds like a band name.
That
or
sounds like a
something.
rom-com.
Something.
I wish we could name this episode for that.
3 turd
Please
heads
do.
and a prude.
3 turd heads and a prude.
Honestly, we might. I'll put that in
The ritual and
Three
question, like in parentheses, 3 turd heads.
I can put that in the description.
Please.
What are the 3 animals again that
There's a
people
rabbit?
A rabbit?
A sheep.
And
A goat.
Sortra?
Sutra, Loki, and
Fenris. And the little prune didn't have a
and
name.
the little prune woman
Yeah,
who is way older and doesn't really fit in with them.
So Fenris probably wouldn't been a bad guy if he wasn't so fucking annoying.
I've got to.
There were parts where I'm like, can you fucking shut up?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He was fucking
so
annoying.
and full of himself.
Yes.
So all of the names of those three are. I don't think they're their real names.
Oh no,
Obviously
definitely not.
no.
Yeah, no. Basically, these three people are kids. They're high school age kids
Fucking babies.
that don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah.
And so they're literally like, I think they were like part of a black metal band or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because if you don't know, the Swedes are really into black metal. It's a fucking thing. It's
the Scandinavians.
Scandinavians are into
general,
it. Yeah, it's like that's where it originated, I think.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing. So it's just this, honestly, they all really annoyed me. And it was definitely like they weren't really that passionate about it. It was like the cool thing to do. They wanted to be cool. And that's why I think it was so convoluted, because they didn't do the research. They didn't really know that much about Norse mythology or anything. They were just following something that they thought was cool that would make them feel powerful, in my opinion.
I mean, I feel like it's a mixture of both. I feel like it's probably something that they learned growing up, or like had. I was obviously around them, but maybe they only took certain parts and made it because it was like, oh, that's cool, that's gonna fit this genre, I'm gonna look amazing.
Yeah, but they weren't really, they were like half-assing it though.
Yeah.
Like,
okay,
because
that's religion in general.
And they're also children.
Choose the pieces that you want to apply
Mm-hmm.
to your belief system so that it suits you. That's, I feel like, what a lot of religion ends up being for people, and that's how these kids did it.
But one thing that gets brought up with this, because there's a lot of like back and forth with Luke and these people.
Yeah.
But then there's also the little prune, the little old lady that like doesn't really fit into this group, and Luke's like, why is she with them?
And she doesn't really say anything at all.
And it's there's a lot of like open-ended things with this book where I was like, they didn't really answer that question very much.
They do
like,
and they don't. And
yeah.
We'll get into it.
Because she definitely was like, they were posers, and she was the real thing, I think, and like it shows.
we're gonna get into who that little old lady
I know, but
is.
the distinction is real, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, very much so.
Very
it's
much
very
so.
obvious.
And I think she recognized that and knew that. Like, she's like, these people, these little fuckers don't know what the fuck they're doing, but I'm gonna lead them on until, just use them until,
absolutely,
yes,
until I don't need them anymore.
I use a little old prune.
Little old prune knows what she's doing. That little wrinkle. All right.
I kind of thought she was cute, but I think it's because of the way they described her.
Yeah.
But also, I thought she was.
I just thought she was dusty.
Scary.
Little prune.
Dusty old prune.
Little old dusty old prune.
Dusty old prune.
Chewing her whatever the fuck. She's got black root like they do in Willow.
She kept. They're like, she just kept smacking her jaws together. And I was like, ew.
That would annoy the shit out of me. Honestly.
She's just sitting there. She's
stop. Yeah.
That's all I could think of. It was like, is this little old lady literally just inches from his face, just like chewing fucking cud or something? Like, what is she doing?
I literally just kept envisioning her chewing black root.
Mm-hmm.
Like fucking Val Kilmer in Willow.
I haven't seen that.
What?
I know.
I know what you're talking about, but
I know what you're talking about.
But I know what you're talking about, yeah.
Oh my lord!
R.I.P. Val Kilmer.
Is this a girls' night thing?
Oh, it's gonna have to be.
Okay.
Oh, I'm so upset.
Sorry.
So originally Luke thought that they were like, they saved him, and he's like, oh, thank goodness. Like, okay, they like,
Then
they,
he was like, fuck.
but then like he realizes, oh, they're not letting me out of this room.
Yeah.
So Fenris, the annoying, is
Fenris the annoying.
he's talking to Luke, who is still in bed, and they're talking about music and things like that. And he said, no, you know what Fenris means? It means a wolf, wolf or whatever. And then he asks like Loki, do you know what Loki means? And he's like, what means a demon. And he's like, and the girl with the great tits, don't tell her I said so.
Yeah.
It's called Surtur. And he's like, a pretty name for a demon, eh? And it means fire. So then, like, later on, he goes to say, he says he's from Norway, he's Norwegian, a Viking or whatever. And Luke is like, okay, Fenris from Norway, I want to leave here. Thank you for taking me from the forest. I would have died otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
But my friends were murdered, and I need to report it. And now you and your friends are making me feel nervous.
Yep.
And Fenris smiled, and he was like, then you are a very wise man, Luke from London, because wolves and devils and fire are to be feared when they are on the wild hunt.
And then one of them says, it is Odin who lives in us. It was Odin all along. So that's where we kind of realize what this monster
Maybe
kind of
is.
thing is.
Yeah,
Yes.
perhaps.
They start like building a pyre. Luxon ends up knocking Fenris out because he tries to escape.
Did you feel like there was a plan there?
I think he just was
Or
like,
he just
"Get me the
was
fuck
like-
out of here." Yeah, I don't think he really. I mean, because he could just see the pyre from outside. That's like all he could see. So he didn't know where he was or anything, but he saw the chance to knock him out, so he did. But then Suitor caught him and brought him back.
And she like punched him some more.
Oh yeah, she beat him up.
And he's already got a
She
head
was
wound.
Kind
She's
of
crazy.
brutal, and
She's nuts.
she's also like not
Yeah,
a
she's
small
unhinged.
gal, and yeah, she is. I think she's the most unhinged out of all of them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, that is one thing also that they bring up is like, I think Luke is like just thinking about like all the culty things. Like he compares them to like
Manson?
Charles
Yeah.
Manson.
he
Yeah,
brings up like Charles Manson and like all these other like culty things, and it's like, yeah, this is basically another one of those where it's like they're just following something that they don't understand and are
they're
just
like, that's
doing,
cool.
doing things because they feel like they need to in the heat of the moment, kind of thing.
So you mentioned that Cersei seems the most unhinged. And I agree with that. And it's interesting to me that she is not the leader and that Loki is.
Well, because
For that
he
reason.
has his craziness under a little bit more control than her.
And is that why
That's
he's
why.
the leader?
Yeah.
Is it because he's controlled?
Oh, definitely.
I would say so, and
Because they could kind of control. He could kind of control her to a certain extent.
Well,
'Cause
yeah,
aren't they kind
because
of a
she's
thing?
his girlfriend.
Yeah.
So like he can control her in the sense of like, well,
Like he is the Charles Manson in this situation.
It's like the people that actually are better with words
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
that can manipulate and control, and she's just all
Over the
aggression
place.
and
Yeah,
emotion.
She's like
there
foaming
is
at the mouth.
Yeah.
there is
She's
no
like
like
rabid.
thought. Like
Yeah. Just pure rage.
so like Loki's able to control her just because she's a fucking animal,
Mhm.
basically.
And then Luke, there's a part where he hears like voices and like walking in the room above him, and it's like kind of weird because he's like, well, there's more people in this house than just them and the old prune. Like, what's going on?
The prune, the prune.
Well, like they don't ever give her a name. They just keep calling her like the little old woman.
The little
Yeah.
old woman, yeah. Honestly, I think Prune's better.
It's because she doesn't ever talk.
She
Yeah.
doesn't. And then I had a question about her. What was your overall feeling on her?
I knew that there was something up her sleeve. I was like, you cannot trust that lady. She's wise beyond her years.
Well, they kept.
I felt like she was just waiting.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Something-
wait for the shoe to drop.
Did you view her as a villain?
I don't think I realized. I wasn't sure for a long time, but
And then even after we've read the whole book, do you view her as a villain?
I don't technically view her as a villain. I think she was doing what she was used to and thought what she thought was supposed to happen.
And from Luke's perspective, then yes, she was, because
Yeah.
his safety is in danger because of her. But in the grand scheme of things,
She also kind of helped him,
Yeah.
but to her own ends
Yeah.
and means, like...
in the grand scheme of things, I don't consider her the bad guy. Quote
Yeah.
unquote. She's also not as annoying as the fucking
Oh, no.
animal little.
She doesn't
weirdos.
say anything. She just is
Yeah.
like,
I feel like she's
Fair.
just another tool for the monster.
Yeah. So Luke ends up like, they come to him and they're like, "Oh, we found your friend."
yeah. And
He gets a little excited.
He was hopeful, and I
and
was
I'm like,
like,
Luke, you should
bro.
know this isn't gonna be a good thing.
It's like, bro, you knew deep down inside it was not good.
Yeah. So they show him Dom, who is, dead. Just like the others, strung up.
So he was having like dreams again about the little white people.
Uh-huh.
I thought you were going to say the prune.
No.
I have dreams about prunes all the time.
Prune, yeah.
Makes me poop good.
And in the tree line, the figures cavorted. They were children. They were angels. Tears filled his eyes. They were dancing. Or were they stalking around the edge of the clearing? That sounds ominous. Or maybe skipping movements before they dropped to all fours were a combination of dancing and stalking. Sometimes they rose up on two hind legs and waved, or clawed their thin white arms at the sky. It was hard to see the little white people clearly, because of the sudden darting of their pale child bodies into the shadows of the forest. They never remained still for long and flitted about constantly. But the longer he watched, the more he glimpsed of their pinkish eyes and their whippy tails, blood purple like earthworms, before they withdrew to the endless darkness beneath the treetops. What was in the attic, guys?
Dead people!
But were
so
they
let's talk
dead?
about that.
They were not dead, but
They
they
were,
were
like,
basically
mummified.
dead.
Ancient mummified people that were still living.
Kind
Yes.
of. They were like, and
Because
cobwebs
he
came
somehow
out.
gets up there.
He snuck up
they
there,
t-
yeah.
Did he
I
sneak
think he
up there? I
sneaked up
think
there.
they took him.
No, I thought he snuck
Oh, did
up
they
there.
take him up?
Because I thought there was like a
133.
knife
Hold on.
involved.
Let's go back.
What was
'cause
it?
Page 1331.
331.
Yeah, so they eventually take him up there, which I think is part of their ceremony.
I think so too. It was really weird because they did like some kind of chanting up there,
so
right?
It's interesting because like all the dreams that they all have had, it ends up coming true. Like, it's kind of like all the dreams that he's had. It's like, oh, wait, no, those people are real that you're dreaming about.
Yeah.
And this is it coming to fruition because he's going up to the attic and he's like, oh, yeah, there's a lot of creepy old people up here that look dead, but they're not dead, but they are ancient. And how are they living and surviving?
Well, it also goes into something later about its babies.
Yeah.
So it was like, and the way he was saying it, they had like tails and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said that in your
So
quote.
you think
Yeah.
that they're like
They're not human.
So he describes them as people, but like I think
They're not fully people.
they look a lot like
They're
people.
humanoid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which always fucking creeps me out.
Yeah, it's like that, what's that term? Where you look like a robot looks... Uncanny Valley. Where it's like, you look like a human, but something's not right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
And,
they're
like-
not fully human.
Black-eyed children.
Yes.
Oh my god, don't get me started.
And like with him, it's like, well, he's had a brain injury, he is exhausted, he's dehydrated, he could have all these other things happening that
What's
would
reality, what
make
isn't?
make him imagine things. So it's like, well, is it real or is it not? Those fucking mummies come to life, basically.
Yeah.
Because Loki like does some like incantation, and then they all start like moving around.
Yeah.
'Cause
That's gonna be creepy.
But
He
it was
just-
like not a like very visible movement. It was very slight. So you're
Yeah.
like,
It
am
was
I
more of a
seeing this?
sound.
Or am I fucking drugged up?
That's gonna be
Like,
creepy.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of fucked up.
Well, because he talked about it, a rustle of old paper, a sigh. Like it was so slight that it made you question it.
It kind of
again.
reminded me of like if creepy toys came to life in like a old toy shop.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
Like,
Yeah, that's that like
yeah.
kind of thing. Yeah, I know exactly
yeah.
what you're talking about. Like
Yep.
one of its thin feet moved, the bony foot clad in a pointed shoe, the leather creased and blackened by centuries. They lived. And Loki was like, these are the ancient ones.
And suddenly he grasped that the old woman of the woods was defined by this closeness to her dead. They existed continuously. She lived with the dead, kept alive a bond with the dreadful things of another time. The church and cemetery was a place of sacrifice, while the old servants of an old religion reposed here. It was despicable. So, like, he recognizes that she's kind of the thing keeping these things alive.
Yeah, she's the caretaker of these, which makes sense because like
she's kind of pruny herself.
She fits in with those folks.
Yes.
It's like, how old is she if they are that fucking old?
Attack of the Prunes.
Attack of the Prunes. How old is that prune?
Adding to that creepiness of the prunes, they talk about the sound of the monster again. And it says, in the distance, up above him, there was shouting, Loki and Fenris, and another sound, one far more well, okay, so this is when he's back down.
In his bedroom.
But it's like right after, comes back down. A deep, throaty growling that evolved into bleating. It didn't sound like a person. It didn't sound like it had come out of a human mouth at all. And it was then combined with a stream of words twisted enough in their anguish to inform the listener that hysteria was building within the speaker. It must have been the voice of the old woman. So that's how you know she's connected to this.
Well, she's calling it. They were so Loki and Fenris and Surtur, they were expecting her to call it because they knew she could.
Yeah, she has the power. She's connected to this being.
But she would never call it when they wanted her to.
Exactly, yeah.
Then they get all pissed.
She has the control.
And she's like, I'm good, and goes back in the house. And they're like, okay.
Yep. Which leads to what happens next.
Her eyes were little obsidian flints set so deeply in that impossibly wrinkled hide of a face. And they were smiling all the time that she worked about his body, trussed upon that reeking bed. But there was warmth inside her eyes, too. It was genuine, he felt, but perhaps no more lasting than the affection shown to a favorite hen or lamb or piglet. He mattered as much as livestock. He was important, he was valued, but only for the sustenance of other older appetites.
So tell us what's going on, though.
So
she's preparing him.
She's
right?
preparing him. She's giving him food and like cleaning him up. And I think this is whenever she starts dressing him too.
Yeah, so it's like this weird, like she starts like the pruny lady started preparing Luke for a sacrifice is basically what's going on.
Yeah. And he's freaking out and he's like, oh, please don't. No.
Because he knows, like, he's like, oh shit, I understand what's going on now.
And then there was this little section that I wanted to bring up about just very much how they're posers.
Yeah.
And we've already talked about that, but like this quote kind of sealed
Nails
that.
it on the head, yeah.
Fenris called out to Sutra, who smiled back at him with her hideously painted face. She had added more blood around the nose and mouth than usual. She was also naked again, and her long black hair was lank about her creamy shoulders. She picked up a little silver digital camera from the grass and came across to take photos of Loki and Fenris as they posed beside the inverted crucifix. It was all still a bit of a game to them. A lack of solemnity at his demise made Luke suddenly and briefly and absurdly angry. So, basically they're just like skipping around in this fucking field where they've like set up like, crucifix and are getting ready to burn the shit out of him and all this stuff, like sacrifice him, and they're just kind of skipping around and like taking band photos.
Well, and I mean that goes back to like the stupidity of cults.
Yes.
And like
they're just kids.
Like,
they're just kids who are probably in like one of the more extremely depicted identity crises where they're just doing what they feel is cool or
in the
whatever,
moment.
In the moment.
Went too far. Yeah. It's just it kind of unsettling how like cults can evolve like that too.
They can. And
from like 3 teenagers get wrapped up with this prune and woo. Things went haywire.
So they did all this, but what happened when they actually tried to sacrifice him?
So they ended up putting Luke on the crucifix upside down.
Yeah.
And the prune will not call the monster. She's like, nope, not gonna do it.
Yeah.
I'm real good.
She's like, no.
Good night.
I am doing a silent protest. Y'all can go fuck yourselves.
And they were pissed.
And the turds got pissed.
Yeah.
So they basically put Luke back into his little room. And he, at that point, was like, oh, wait. I think he kind of sensed that the little old lady had something up her sleeve.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, whenever she walked, and I forgot to talk about this earlier, when she walked, he always said that she was wearing wooden shoes.
Because they're like, clop, clop, clop,
Yeah.
clop.
He always said she was, and she was like a little cat.
Yeah.
I remember he described her as being perched like a little cat several times.
I'm not scared of her. Like,
No.
I'm not. She sounds really cute.
She was never an intimidating. Like, she knows shit. She knows how to fuck with people. But I was never like intimidated by her. I was like, oh, she's just a little misunderstood old lady.
Yeah, she never scared me either. She's And I don't see her as a villain either. Even after all this, I don't even see her as a villain.
She might be a wolf in sheep's clothing. Honestly, because she has the power to unleash a fucking monster.
But I don't see her as a villain even so, because she's, again, just acting on what she knows.
Yeah.
She's protecting her family.
Well, and also this monster, this thing, is only in this woods.
Yeah.
This wooded area. It's not like it's attacking the rest of Sweden or something.
No, they're
not going for world domination. They just want to sustain themselves.
I like that he describes her as cat-like, because she is. She is quiet. She moves around like quickly. Silently.
Mm-hmm.
She just perches in her little fucking cradle bed.
She has her own agenda. She keeps her secrets.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she does what she wants.
She minds her own business.
But she also slyly appeases the three turds. But for her own means. It's her
because she
agenda.
knows. She's like, this will be to my benefit even though they're insufferable. But,
yeah.
Yep.
I feel like that's a very cat thing to do. Be like, well, they'll feed me if
very
I just
planning
stick
and
around.
plotting. Yes, yes.
And watching. Just silently watching.
Speaking of plotting... What happens? Chapter 65.
So Luke gets away, right? He kind of
But
escapes.
what makes him get away?
She gives him a knife.
The prune.
The prune.
Yeah, she gives him a knife, right?
Yeah.
She gives him the flower crown. She gives him the gown, the sacrifice gown, and she gives him a knife.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like she's still setting him up to be a sacrifice. But it's almost like she's letting him almost do it on his own terms.
Yeah.
Well, but I don't know that he realized at that time that that's what she was. I think he was like, well, thanks for the clothes. I don't know what's with the crown, but thanks.
Luke was like, Luke knew that she was way more knowledgeable than the three turds.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's like, whenever he realized that night that she let him free, gave him a knife, gave him a little... I think the little flower crown probably was like, okay, I'm probably going to get sacrificed maybe. But she's giving me the opportunity to take revenge.
He was also pretty much naked. So he was like, well, let me just put this gown on. And like the flower crown, she was also giving him those things because the three turds still thought that he was going to be a sacrifice.
Yeah.
So it's not going to make them suspicious. You know, she's giving him the things that is traditional, I guess.
Well, and then there's a whole page 370. He's kind of like thinking about it. He's like, could he kill? He asked himself, his stomach turned over. Would he recognize himself after he did this thing? This was not some horror film. He would actually have to smash a knife through human skin into the density of a body. He began to shake. Maybe he should just run, hide, hope. No, they would come after him. And then down below it says, it was unthinkable. It was mandatory. Yep. So that's when he knew. He's like, okay, I gotta fucking do this.
Like, it's survival. I have to do it. He runs into Fenris first, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because he creeps downstairs to the kitchen.
And Fenris was asleep in his sleeping bag, and he's like...
on the kitchen table.
Which is like, what the fuck?
And he's cuddling the sheep's mask, yeah?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But the thing was, he wasn't really asleep.
No.
He was like staring at him. That was kind of creepy.
Uh-huh.
I remember being like, wow, that'd be freaky to like just see a dude just like looking at him. Ugh.
And like
that kind of unsettled me.
At first
honestly.
I was like, is he asleep with his eyes open?
Yeah, right.
But then I was like, oh shit, he is not asleep.
Yeah.
He's just in that sleeping bag.
It
And the
freaked
old
me out.
woman's in the corner being a creepy old prune. Like,
Prune cat.
yeah, the prune cat's in the corner.
He and Fenris get into like a knife fight,
Yeah.
and Fenris cuts him. His breath seized up inside him when he felt the opening of himself like a wet pastry across his hip bone.
But then he stabs Fenris.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he was like really shocked about it.
Yeah, Fenris gasped, looked down himself in surprise, then screwed up his smeared face like he was going to cry, like he was so disappointed that he had been cheated.
It's like so childish at that point, because it's like you've participated in the deaths of his friends in some way, shape, or form. You've been holding this man hostage after he suffered like a fucking concussion.
Well, and they
You
all
tried
were saying,
to sacrifice him to a monster.
they were saying how they'd all killed people before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it just goes back to like they're kids. They're kids and they don't know what they're just doing it because they think it's cool. Like
Yeah.
honestly, they probably did not kill a bunch of people. They were just saying that.
And then,
Luke goes for the gun.
yep.
Does he end up killing Fenris with the gun?
Yes.
Luke tried to shoot him, but the trigger was stuck.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Because the safety was on. He smashes his knife into his throat.
Oh.
All the way through until the finger guard of the handle stopped against the lump of his Adam's apple. That's
Oh
what he
yeah.
says.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Luke stepped away, panting. I'm sorry. Shit. He wanted this to stop now. The old woman spoke in Swedish. She nodded her little white head in approval, and her eyes smiled at him over Fenris's shoulder.
The book has already progressively gotten more gory and stuff,
Yeah.
but this is the part where I'm like, woo, these are visceral words right here. Like
yes.
the Adam's apple thing, I was like, Jesus
Yes.
Christ.
Yeah.
So then Loki comes down, and he's trying to get out of Loki where the keys are to that truck that's outside.
Yeah, because he wants to like get the fuck out of there because he knows he's gonna be a sacrifice if he doesn't.
Yes.
Well, Luke shot him, and then it was that. Because he literally comes through the door, and he does not see Luke, and Luke's like, ba-boom.
Oh yeah. So he shoots Loki.
Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
Sutra, it was upstairs, and he's like, Loki was trying to say that the keys to the truck that's outside is upstairs in his jacket. And Luke was like, yeah, where she is are.
Yeah.
Even though he had gravely wounded Fenris, because we talked about how
Yeah,
he
Fenris
stabbed
is
him in the
still,
throat.
like,
He's still
alive.
fucking alive.
Yeah.
And
I
he's like
remember Fenris being
crawling
alive, yeah.
away outside. Sutra has ran out the door
Mm-hmm.
and was trying to run away. He tried to shoot at her or whatever, right? But he wasn't able to.
So this is when the old lady comes back into play, though,
Mm-hmm.
because as he's like killing these 3 children, the old woman goes outside and starts chanting, right?
Mm-hmm.
She called it out again and again at the end of the 3rd line of the 3-line verse. This is the little prune. Motor. Mother. No, he said to himself. Please, no. The realization came quick and cold, like the contents of a pail of freezing water thrown straight into his face. He swung his head like a tired horse and knew that no man should be made to witness such things. He looped the keyring around his little finger, took aim with the rifle. Ma'am! I said no! which like made me giggle so hard when I read that, because like, ma'am! She sang like a child, like a little girl, and raised her thin, dusty arms into the air.
See, she
Dusty,
dusty.
old prune.
Yep.
She dusty.
She does, the girl.
She, dusty old cat prune. Motor's the protector of the forest.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure she's one of its children.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And all of those
I
other...
think it alludes to that.
Yeah.
Like, literally calling it mother.
Yes.
Luke fucking shoots her, and everything goes silent. Luke walked across to her and looked down. The hem of her dusty dress was hiked up to her bony knees, unclothed. Her legs were thin and covered in coarse white hair. The skin through the hair was pinkish. Her legs bent the wrong way at the knee joints. At the end of her goatish legs were little white hooves, her tiny, loud feet.
That's why I pointed out the wooden feet earlier.
Yeah.
Because I
she's
was like,
like
there's a thing.
Not human.
Yeah.
Yeah, she got little goat feet.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's why I wanted to point out the
Clippity
wooden
cloppity,
feet.
clippity cloppity, prune girl.
Dusty old girl.
Can you make that like our like fucking like just make that clip like our pause music. Clippity cloppity prune girl.
It's like some weird.
It's
It's like some weird fucking Christmas song. What's that? Clippity clop?
Oh, yeah!
The
sleigh
Santa's on
bells,
his
the
way.
sleigh
Clackety
bells.
clack
Yeah.
clack clackety clack clack. Yeah,
It's,
that one.
yeah.
Clippity cloppity
But
prune
it's old
girl.
dusty old prune girl.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, and I think the monster gets pissed off because he
Well,
just
I
shot
mean,
one of her children.
Faux show.
Well, and then doesn't he go in and had he already done this, or is it afterward?
It's afterwards.
It's afterwards. He goes in the attic and stabs all the little
Oh
mummified
yeah,
things.
he stabs all, so he kills
Yeah.
all of the children.
Yeah. So Luke running around naked because he takes off his white dress, throws it over to Loki's face.
That's
and
what happens to me.
He'd be
all the
bleeding
time.
everywhere and angry.
You know,
and
when
His
I'm
boobs
stressed out, I
flopping
take
in
off-
the wind.
I take off my
Shooting
clothes
everybody.
too.
I guess it wouldn't be his boobs
I don't need
flopping
these
in the
clothes.
wind.
I'm fighting a monster.
Unless it's real cold. It was been raining a lot. You don't
These
know.
are
It is.
not aerodynamic. So he gets the keys to the truck, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And he tries to start said truck.
And
Yes.
it said.
It said, "No, I am
It's a
Lita."
good car sound.
The truck is us now.
Yeah.
We are Lita. It is 11:35 p.m.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, he's trying to start the truck, and the monster starts creeping towards him or something.
It starts chase. Well, he finally gets it going, and he starts driving, and the monster's chasing him.
Oh, they like play chicken.
Yeah. It's chasing him, and then the truck gets stuck, and he's like, oh, fuck. And then the monster's in front of him, and he gets the car or the truck in gear again and starts driving, and they're like basically playing chicken in this very
but
small tunnel of
also
forest.
the monster throws Suitor at him, like her body at him.
Like half. Wasn't it like half her body?
It was,
Chunk.
but beneath her breast, her ribcage had been torn asunder
Yes.
like a cardboard box. She had red, whitish flesh wings attached and an all too visible spinal column. She was all gone, down to her dark, sopping abdomen, but sat upright, her inert body resting against the tailgate of the truck. An inconceivable strength had done that to sinew, muscle, and bone. Literally torn her body wide open. The monster's like, fuck this lady, I'm gonna throw her at your truck. And so she gets thrown on the truck, and she's just like, whoa, on the back.
Yeah, I know. That's how I imagined it too. Was like the most morbid fucking bobblehead
Exactly.
doll.
I was like,
Yeah.
Jesus,
Like,
holy crap.
Wacky inflatable arm flailing
Yeah.
tube man, but Sutra.
In his
That's
rearview
so true.
mirror, Suitor lolled and shook, bumped and banged, but would not take her eyes from him. That's gross.
You did, but girl, stop looking at me.
It was pretty gruesome, that bit.
And then the fucking monster comes through the window at him, but it gets stuck in the truck somehow. I don't remember exactly how it gets stuck. Like teeth? Its teeth get stuck? Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he's kind of like in between its mouth and the seat of the truck, and he stabs it in the throat.
Oh, the juggler.
The jugular.
Take that.
And he's
Mother!
all naked and is breathing on his ding-a-lang, and he's like,
Specifically?
Not on his dingling.
he's
on
like,
his
this
pork
thing's got
sword.
some rank ass breath.
It's
and-
like, first of all, it's trying to kill me. Second of all, it's
The,
sexually
the
harassing me.
monster is dingling.
Both.
they're like
Honestly,
screaming at each other, basically.
I thought that the way that he killed the monster was kind of like not very interesting. You know what I mean? Like, it's this all-powerful being, and how you deter it is by stabbing it in the neck. Like,
He's
come
like,
on.
here you go. Bye.
Yeah, I don't know. I just was like,
Here's a
really?
little stabby for you.
Really?
Well, I think that's
Really?
interesting because it's underestimated because it was just a little Swiss Army knife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't even like a fucking hunting
And
knife
it's
or
this
anything.
giant, scary creature that's killed everyone, and then he kills it with a little Swiss Army knife to the neck.
I don't like that.
It's like a very David and Goliath thing.
That's what I was thinking, like a very like Achilles heel,
Yeah.
you David Goliath thing. Yeah, I was like,
Oh no, my only weakness, being stabbed in the throat.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, honestly.
How do you kill a vampire? You stab it through the heart with a stake. It's
But
like,
it's gotta
well,
be
that
wooden
would kill
stake.
fucking anyone.
It's gotta be wooden.
Right? I mean, you stab anyone in the jugular.
Oh,
it's
you
fucking
gotta-
over.
That's
what
what
about
I'm
a werewolf?
saying.
You gotta shoot it with a silver bullet. Well, that would kill me too, bro.
It's this
Right?
fucking monster that has lasted for centuries, eons, and it gets defeated by a Swiss Army knife. Like, come on.
It says, out of sight, the white people scurried. They chattered like little monkeys. They leapt up at the corner of his heavy eyes. They were small and pale like naked children. Twice in his delirium, he turned and knelt and fired the rifle into the trees at where he thought he had seen something small and pallid land on tiny feet and begin chittering. And then there would be silence. An awful silence loaded with anticipation and vague hopes. Before it would begin, again, the prancing of little feet on the wet forest floor just out of sight and the crying out of small mouths and the distant undergrowth. She had quite a brood, so many young. Moder was hurt and her young were angry. If he fell and passed out with exhaustion, he knew they would take him from his own dreams and from the wet mud his feet slid about in. So he walked and he walked and he talked to himself to keep them from taking him. So he was trying not to freaking fall asleep so they don't come and get him, and he ends up getting out of the woods.
Yeah.
And it's like a rocky stone area, and he's just wondering because he has no idea which direction to go. And then he starts getting into his existential dread shit, and he's like, life is fucking stupid. I don't know what to do with it.
It's like, I've been through so much. What do I do now?
He has like an appreciation for life, I feel like.
Yeah.
At the end.
Yeah.
I think his
Even
point of
though,
view is a
like,
little
I feel
different
like-
now.
If I'd survived some shit like this, I'd be like,
I'd probably be pretty existential
I think
too.
I'm done. I think I'm good. Like, all my friends are dead. I just survived this crazy ass thing, but I think I'm good, which is a good ending. I felt like.
Yeah.
It
It
also left
gave it
a
like
little
a
to be desired.
well,
yeah, I was just like,
yeah.
hmm.
open ending, but a good ending. You
Yeah.
know, whatever.
Yeah.
It is what it is. All right, now we're ready for the movie adaptation of
Yeah.
The Ritual. So, this movie came out in 2017. I think just on Netflix. I don't think it had any theatrical release or anything.
Yeah. I think it was like one of those Netflix originals. or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah. I think I definitely I didn't watch it until we watched it for this book, but I think I'd seen it on Netflix several times.
Mhm.
It has a 6.4 out of 10 stars on IMDb, which is actually higher than I expected it to be.
Really?
Yeah. Because honestly, I wasn't that impressed with this movie. I don't know. Maybe it's because I read the book before I watched the movie.
That's fair.
But I also, like, as far as the movie goes, I was like, it's okay. I wasn't, like, really impressed with the book either. So I'm kind of like, I like the book more than the movie because it gave it more context and depth. But there are certain parts of the movie that I'm like, oh, I like that spin on it, or I like this certain thing. But I didn't really. But you and then someone that we talked to yesterday were like, oh, I love the movie.
I think to me, like for especially like newer movies, if they are visually stimulating and like beautiful, I am more apt to like it than not.
So you like visually aesthetic?
Yes.
Like the wood stuff and everything, or what do you mean?
Yes, because like one of my favorite directors is Mario Bava.
Mm-hmm.
So he uses a lot of color and shadow and different things that are just like visually and aesthetically pleasing. But he did all his movies in the 60s.
Yep.
So like
With
this
film.
yeah. So this movie, it's like the light, the shadows, the colors and stuff, because there's certain points in the movie where like the colors are really intense.
Mm-hmm.
Like when he's in the birch forest, when he's by himself, and he's like trying to go see if he can see anything, and then it's like all those trees like bam, 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 and you like really can't see anything because there's all these trees, and then all of a sudden,
Yeah, that part was cool.
you just see the fingers like wrap around the tree, and like I was like, oh, I fucking love that.
Yeah, it's like subtle things. Yeah.
yeah, and you don't see the monster until the very end.
Yeah.
And I love that. Like, I I want you to let me use my imagination.
Well, it's the suspense. It's like the Alien effect, because that's the whole thing about Alien is you don't see the full monsters till the very end, and it's still very powerful. And I did appreciate that's one of the things I did like about this movie is the way that they did the monster, because I was like, Jesus, that thing has some detail, because it's like a whole bunch of different creatures morphed into one.
Yeah, and then when it finally unfolds and you see the full thing, and especially when you see it like and the side view and the profile and the fire and stuff, and you're like, that's fucking wild.
Yeah.
Like, that's terrifying.
It was very different from the book.
It wasn't at the same time.
Yeah.
It still followed the book really well, but then there was like an additional story that was not in the book at all.
Yeah, they had like an additional friend that got killed at the very beginning, and then they were going on the hiking trip in memorial for him.
And they all blamed Luke
because he was in the
killed.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he was in the shop.
They went to go get liquor, and no one wanted to do it except Luke, so then the friend went in with him, and then the robbery happened, and then the friend got killed, but Luke didn't, and everyone's like, why didn't you fight for him?
Yeah, because Luke was hiding, but it's also one of those things where it's like,
you don't know what you do in that situation.
Yeah.
And also, he was thinking about it.
Yeah.
But then, they just killed him.
Yeah.
Yeah. The 3 turds were very annoying in the book, but I wish that they were in the movie, because I felt like that whole part of the movie was like not worked out very well. Like it was just like, okay, there's like these random people that like have them people. And like there wasn't like any backstory to it. Like it didn't have as much depth, and I'm like, if they would have thrown those teenagers in there, it would have given us something, you know?
Yeah.
There is one point they're out in the woods and they find this tent and they find like a wallet, and it's got like this whole
that
family,
woman or whatever,
a family picture, and it's got like 2 young kids and like a husband and wife.
Someone's license too.
I think, and I could be totally wrong, I think the little girl in that picture was the girl that was trying to help him.
I thought that too.
At the cult.
Okay, I thought that too.
I did not make that connection,
like,
but that's probably right. Yeah, that's probably right.
Because when they found it, it was like 80 something.
That
so
makes
sense.
sense.
She would be an adult by then.
No, that makes sense. Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't make that connection, but that is a good connection. But also,
it's such a blip, though.
Like, yeah, they didn't really like fully like thresh that out.
Yeah,
the movie wasn't. For me, it wasn't amazing, but it wasn't a bad movie either.
And for like a low budget movie, it was good. Yeah. But I'm not saying. It wasn't like mind blowing.
And by far isn't amazing. Absolutely not. It's not. But that could be out for discussion. I do like it a lot, but like I said, it's not typical that I like newer movies.
Yeah, I did. Since there wasn't much information on this. Mm-hmm. I was just scrolling through some of like the reviews and whatnot on IMDb, and they're like fucking paragraphs and paragraphs. I'm not going to read them, but there were some titles to reviews that I wanted to read that I thought were kind of comical.
I love it.
Okay, 1. Promising start, sturdy middle act, underwhelming finale. Which I'm like, yes, I agree. But the book's like that. Yeah. So that's one thing I'm like, okay, some parts of the movie that I don't like are because the book was like that. Like the ending, I was like, well, that was underwhelming. Like,
yeah, it really was, and I forgot that's how it ended, and I was like, and then the book ended similarly, and I was like,
yeah, yeah.
I think a good ending is always a really important aspect of a book.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it leaves people like being like, that's it? Like, you gave me so much and then nothing. So I have a couple more. These 2 are kind of like similar to the last one. Great first hour, but last 30 minutes are so disappointing. Truth. Another one. Okay, but it could have been better. Truth. This one's my favorite. 4 dummies go for a hike. Which I'm like, yes, this is true. And then they made 3 turds and an old prune. Yes, 4 dummies go for a hike and meet 3 turds and a prune. All right, and this one, and it's funny because I kind of read like the actual like reviews, but like I said, they were like a lot. The one that was 4 dummies go for a hike, it was like, this is so unrealistic, blah blah. It was all about hiking. And then this one, safest place in the world are actually the Swedish woods. And it's like the Swedish person that was like, dude, First of all, those woods I've hiked in several times, and they're not unsafe at all. And it's like, well, yeah, but this is a fictional book. Like,
listen,
okay,
I went through those woods too, and I got attacked by motors.
But I just thought it was funny because I'm like, sir, you might be correct, but also this isn't relevant to a fictional movie about a fucking monster. The last thing is, Amber kind of mentioned it, but there is another movie adaptation of a book that he wrote. No One Gets Out Alive, released in 2021, and it is also on Netflix. Have not watched it, don't know what it's about, but you know what? Go check it out if you want to.
I have not watched it either, but I've heard of that book.
Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Liquor&Literature Podcast. We also have an email, liquorliteraturePodcast@gmail.com. Send us
A
whatever.
recommendation.
Yeah, your recommendations for drinks, for books, for whatever. You just want to say hi? Just say hi. Just do it. But yeah. Until next time.
Live, laugh, lobotomy.
Live, laugh, lobotomy? Is that what you just said?
Yes. Is that our new tagline?
Yes.
Live, laugh, lobotomy.
I'm gonna get that sign for my mother's house and hide it somewhere among her fucking basic white woman fucking signs.
I love it.
Live, laugh, lobotomy.
Yeah, the 3 L's.
Yes, queen.
Okay. Until next time, keep the pages turning and the drinks flowing. Goodbye. Audio engineering, logo creation, and social media content was produced by Lauren Ranney with Ranney Film and Video. Stock music tracks have been provided by Motion Array and Adobe Stock. Find us on Facebook and Instagram at Liquor&Literature Podcast, where you can dive into more details about the books, authors, and movies we cover. You can find all of our episodes at liquorliteraturepodcast.podbean.com. Until next time, keep the pages turning and the drinks flowing.